Oh hey, light's green this time around. Okay. Hi, welcome to another unnecessary episode of Late Night Tyrone Summer. I actually shouldn't be mapping right now because I'm capped on sulfite. So I guess I'm just gonna fuck off to the mines for 18k. I don't even know what monster level I should be at to dodge penalty on this thing. But considering I have to do encounters, I'm probably just gonna go as deep as I can get away with. There is no single target on this character yet. There is nothing even resembling single target in a general sense. I also don't have my fucking macros on. Whoops. Sorry, I mean, I don't have my definitely not macros on. Hey, Tyrone, somebody, you make that joke every time. Yep. Sorry about the Windows noises. Alright, let's see about this whole delving business. The character's running pretty well considering it's still in a gold rim and a Doedriz, so hopefully things generally behave. Hey, Wilmy. Yeah. This is what? Monster level 71? Okay. So it's not a complete train wreck. It's not literally the worst thing that's ever been done. That's something. Let's try... There's a whole bunch of jewelry nodes over here. Let's go there. Wells asks, another Abereth's character? You should know by now, I play two types of characters, and they're actually both the same character. I like this item, man. There's something profoundly compelling about it. It's definitely not in any sort of state that I'd call complete, or even necessarily worth showing off in any capacity. XP rain! Hey. For the moment, what it is funny. Impulses is a dumb item. Impulses might actually be the dumbest item. I don't know what I want to spend that skill point on, so I'm just not going to. I want to get more damage on the actual Herald of Thunder activation. It's 4-linked right now. It's difficult to scale heralds as such, but definitely not impossible, as is probably fairly apparent right now. Okay, guys, so you're getting big puntos in this too? Yeah, I guess you could say. The Chaos Returns are puntos. What do I want? I have no fucking idea. Oh, hey. I guess I could get the skill effect duration for a little bit of quality of life. Oh, hey. So that was a good delve encounter. Very, very engaging. Everybody's out here playing fucking Maple Story 2. I considered starting that up. If it had been on Steam, I probably would have tried it because it wouldn't require me to do anything resembling effort to actually play it and decide that it is garbage. But considering they make me download a totally separate launcher, that can fuck right off. So there's your number one reason to just put your fucking games on Steam. Because if you're gonna force me to use some kind of idiot patcher utility, at least let me use the one that I've already got. Looking at you, Ubisoft. Yeah, directly at you. Twill says, today I got absolutely hammered by Despair in Zero Ranger. Despair's tough. It's like kind of a deceptively simple looking boss. Gecko says, as soon as my character was made, I smacked into 40 uwus before touching the controls and I uninstalled it. Nice. Despair is the, it's the last boss that isn't the last boss. I guess that's how I can put it, so that nobody fucking gets trolled by watching the VOD and randomly spoiled. This fucking room again? Nah. Twelve says, I lost 3 continues to Despair, the other went to 5 went to Marble Madness, the sequel. Marble Madness is actually so fucking hard for no reason at all. Like, that sequence upsets me because when you do it correctly, it's like 45 seconds long, but you never do it right. Never ever. So I guess I want to, like... Oh yeah, I have to finish the... I have to finish speccing this. Hey, we made it over 4K life while wearing this. And this. And that, I guess. And whatever this is. This is me being dex pinned. I need an Astromentus there eventually, I think. It's just the simplest thing to put there. Saki says, well, today I started preparations to DM a one-on-one D&D 5e game. Huh. One-on-one, huh? That shit's wild. Jen says Marble Madness is where I'm stuck as well. You mean 2-4 Marble Madness or 1-4? The strategy I see people taking for 2-4 Marble Madness is to literally just, like, on the one where there's like 8 orbs, you just bodily ram yourself into them. Like, you just take the life loss and kind of eat it. It's ugly, but it seems to work. 1-4 Marble Madness is just like... So you gotta make it all the way up there, which is tricky. You just gotta play the stage portion clean enough to the point where you can actually practice a little bit. Once you get to the actual boss itself, it's just sort of like, I don't know, stream stuff in circles and point blank with melee. Gecko asks, is Azurite Puntos? Pretty much. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this character. Like, it's running way too well for something that I basically just pulled out of Blood Aqueduct and into red maps. Like, it doesn't do bosses, obviously, but it will do bosses once I scrape the currency for Poet's Pen setup, because that's apparently something you can just put on any character in the entire game and it works every time. Which is pretty funny. of decided that I want to write at least something about every game that I touch during the Tyrone Sama Attempts single-player extravaganza. Like, I want to write something. I don't know how much or what kind of something, but I feel like I ought to have some kind of a record of the experience. Keek says, the Fantasy Strike Twitter tried to make some smart-ass joke about input lag, saying moves in their game come out 1 frame after you press them. Then Mike Z came in like, actually you have 6 frames of input lag and you don't even know what input lag is. Please link me to this. Gecko asks, so what's different for this one than the last 10 of the build, AJ? There's different movements on the grid, or is there some new gimmick? It's Elementalist now. Uses chance to freeze instead of crit. Uses an impulses because why the fuck not? Everything should be using an impulses right now, honestly. So it's less of a new character and more of a refinement of the same concept that I've been playing since like 3.0. And this one is the easiest one to set up yet, because characters are getting more and more powerful, and Grinding Gear decided to give Herald scaling access to the fucking minion damage nodes because of the glorious fucking passive that is Spiritual Aid, meaning a whole bunch of things that literally have no access to damage scaling at all now have fuck tons of it, some of the best nodes in the game. It's like, oh, minion damage applies to your damage. Just your damage? Your damage. Capital Y, capital D. So any source of damage, even the ones that you're not really supposed to be able to scale, even the ones that explicitly say you're not allowed to scale this, it's not affected by modifiers to spell damage. You can just do it anyway? Why yes, you actually can. And so the result is that you can scale a Herald without having to resort to going crit and the shit that's associated with going crit. So you can just be LE Overload instead, because who wouldn't want to be fucking LE Overload? Whee! I actually don't know if traps trigger impulses. I figured sourcing probably prevents it. What is it? Shocked enemies you kill. So yeah, if reflected damage is fucking sourced to traps, then it would naturally follow that that effect wouldn't apply because the traps are killing the enemy and not you. Which is the most fucking Path of Exile thing ever. I actually kind of want to play Fantasy Strike, honestly. Like, the fact that they're actually doing the frame data display stuff, some actual in-game method of communicating ideas of advantage and disadvantage, that's pretty important to me, I think. Oh yeah, that's why this thing is so smooth in Delve, because fucking freeze is corpse removal, so no more dealing with really? I'll record everything. No more dealing with overcharged, Wettas, unstable Wettas, what have you, and their big-ass fucking ground effect. Gecko says, I own it, you don't want to play Fantasy Strike. Tool says, arc traps are neat, but lightning traps just work. Lightning Spire trap is pretty funny. I hear Shimmerons have dropped to like 2C recently, so if you want to play a lightning-based trapper, you have access to the fucking best wand in class for, like, the price of a couple runs of Blood Aqueduct. Gecko says, it makes up for no high-low blocking with one of the most fucked up cross-up hitboxes I've seen in a while. Are we talking, like, Rising Thunder level or worse? So I gotta dump loot. I've pretty much stopped picking up rares entirely except for jewelry. which means that when it comes time to identify all of these, it's gonna be really, really funny. That was a good camera movement. That's very nice. Really, this character should probably just be fossil farming. But I sort of want to shove it to level 90 as quickly as possible so I can basically abandon all pretense of ever leveling it further. Like, level 90 is where I'm content to leave basically every character. And then I get to start thinking about how to get more move speed. The answer to which is probably find a slightly better frenzy engine. Also, being able to freeze beefier rares does kind of nicely make up for the fact that my single target is terrible right now. Yeah, this is just the best version of this fucking type of character. I wonder if they're gonna trash impulses before the next league. Does it not even... It doesn't even show Scorched on Uberstruct? That's surprising to me, actually. I disagree with that, so I'll probably mark up the filter to show all fossils. Maybe except for Aberrant, because nobody can sell Aberrant fossils. Even Wes is kind of struggling to sell those. That's good. The fact that the game lags so badly when you hit something with Herald Device, basically functioning as ghetto hit stop. Oh, I have no flares, that's good. Good at game. So I get to run that route again. I know that a strat a lot of people have been using to push from 99 to 100 is literally just running the same darkened section of Delve over and over again, because it's free and relatively instant access to high-level monsters. So as long as you can pay for the flares and your build doesn't mind being in darkness every now and again, it's actually super strong. Meanwhile, that Ichimonji Righteous Fire stuff. Ethan was using double Ichimonji phase run for Delve Darkness farming, but apparently some of the Delve monsters have fucked up aggro behavior. Bosses, though, it works fine on bosses for some reason. Somehow being able to damage bosses with Righteous Fire without actually aggroing them. That is some of the ugliest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Path of Exile is really good. So my only source of leech is at Zuri's right now. Good thing Impulses makes me immune to shock, or I wouldn't be able to swing the flasks at all. And then I've got like 1.3% life regen. Something totally meaningless. This XP has been pretty good, though. Seeing the bar bump itself up a little bit every single time a pack explodes. Gloom Herald is the best purchase I've ever made in Path of Exile. Fuck the tabs. Getting people with the fucking ice spikes. That is the best. So I guess I'm dicking around on stream right now because I feel kind of bad about not broadcasting in a couple days. I feel like I'm gonna end up playing fucking XCOM sometime soon. I might Steam share it from Frey. I have never heard of anyone talk about XCOM in a context that wasn't, holy shit, XCOM is so frustrating, fuck this game. probably makes it great fucking stream fodder. I just don't know if I got the stamina to stick with something like that for too long. It's frustrating playing XCOM. God, look at that fucking hit stop. So I just sit here. Yeah, the freeze chance is pretty reliable, honestly. Even at only 65% chance to freeze on the Herald of Thunder, it does a pretty decent job of keeping me generally safe. Shit like that is why you look at Glacial Hammer like, huh, you know what? Pretty decent offensive skill that actually gives you a fuck ton of defense as well, sign me up. Gecko says, XCOM is great, but the hit rate is bad. Oh no. So the memes about something having 80% hit rate when you're point blank with a fucking gun, those are real? Gecko says there are like 8 mechanics in place that sway chance to hit in your favor and it's still lopsided. Nice. The other tactics thing that I've been thinking about doing recently is an FE8, pick my edits, or a randomizer. Because FE8 is something that I can bail myself the fuck out of if the game becomes incredibly obnoxious. Like, as long as I can survive the initial slog through like the first couple of chapters, then when Tower of Omni opens up, it basically becomes a difficulty slider. Where it's like, oh man, all you have to do is sit here and then fucking level all your units, and then the game is not challenging anymore. So it kind of neatly prevents the randomizer problem. Wow, I actually fucking killed that before it face changed. Which is that tactics game randomizers have a nasty habit of becoming unwinnable in weird ways. And Fire Emblem is certainly no exception. Chris says, hey AJ, how goes stream? Just got back from work. Oh, you didn't miss too much. Looking to wind down a little bit before bed. This is one of those situations where it's like, dude, I'm literally horizontal in my fucking chair right now. Do not put the camera on me. I feel like I want to do a slightly more elaborate overlay as a signal to people in the directory that I actually give a shit about this. But I like what I got. Chris says, XCOM memes are real. The Best Friends XCOM 2 playthrough had the infamous 45% hit rate miss despite the gun being directly in the alien's face. Hey, that's the other thing. I hear XCOM 2 is very, very cozy about turn limits to prevent boring, slow advance kind of strategies. That's sort of exactly what I want right now, though. I realize that Yggdrasil Union made me super fucking anxious with turn count in a way that wasn't enjoyable to me. Like, I'm fine with low turn count stuff as being like an elective the game will recognize in some way for like future playthroughs, but I don't like it being presented as, hey, if you want to be optimal on your very first playthrough even, better hope you know LTC strategies. That's just no fun. A little bit of room to explore and see how the game responds, I think, is very important. There's apparently yet another Thracia patch being worked on. And I'm eyeing that like, once it's finished I can probably stop dodging Thracia, which would be cool. And by that I mean it would be horrible. Because by all accounts Thracia is pretty much the most unforgiving game in the Fire Emblem series. And at the moment, not only is it extremely unforgiving, but it's also super erudite because the whole thing is barely translated. Always fun. I mean, it gives me an excuse to not read text, which is always nice. This fucking phase run that can't level up is upsetting me. Because this build gets no dexterity anywhere. It doesn't even know what dexterity is. I got like 130 dex node there, and I'm starting to feel like I maybe shouldn't have even bothered. I also feel like playing more Quake Champions recently, which is a horribly self-destructive urge, but man, it's so close to being a good video game. Like, and not just a good video game, but the exact type of good video game that I want to be playing right now. Now, do I know if it'll... Do I have any faith that it'll actually stick around the moment Bethesda decides to stop obsessively dumping money into it in hopes that it doesn't die? I don't know. Ostensibly, the game is still in early access, which is like, okay. We believe you. Jin says, having context for what the fuck you're doing is kind of nice sometimes, though. Oh yeah, I agree. I'm not typically the type of person to actually skip text in video games unless it's unreasonably paced. And even in games where stuff seems unreasonably paced, sometimes so much of the appeal comes from the text that you kind of have to sit through it anyway. Like, I can't fairly judge a fucking JRPG for having a boring intro if I skip all the fucking world building. I probably still can, but, you know, in the interest of being complete. This is monster level 72. I probably need to crank it up a little bit to make sure I'm still getting XP at a decent rate. Then again, is it XP per time or XP per sulfite that I'm curious about? Because Delve is pretty cozy. I want to spend a little more time here. Jin says, assuming it has world building to speak of. Yeah. Gecko put fucking Conception 2 into that form. And somehow it's captured my fucking heart more than anything else that's been submitted so far. Just because it seems like the most... If I know it... If I go in knowing that I'm going to hate it more than anything else that I've played all year... Like... Something about that is vastly compelling to me. Like, just getting exactly what you expect. It's like some kind of cosmic confirmation that your mental model of the world is still completely right. Like, oh no, Conception 2 was hot fucking garbage. I was right. The world continues to spin. Because I'm setting out a rule for myself. After FE7, which was... I mean, I'm sure this was obvious to a lot of people, but I really, really did not want to finish the FE7 playthrough by the end. It was just grueling and shitty. It was a horribly balanced fucking game at that point, where the game would just beat me senseless for small mistakes in between 20 turns of complete fucking tedium. It was horrible. It was a genuinely miserable experience that I think the RNG just pushed so far out of whack for me that there was no way for me to control that anymore. Like, it was the 1 in a million run where every unit I tried to raise got benched. And so I'm sitting here looking at this like, okay, so next time I don't want to finish a playthrough, I'm just not gonna do it. I'm never gonna put myself through something like that again. And so I'm caught between the two extremes of never do any more long playthroughs, or always be unafraid to start long playthroughs and unafraid to disappoint people when you trash them 40 hours in. Shoutouts to Persona. Wait, Conception 2 was on 3DS? The fuck? How do you get that fucking shit on a Nintendo platform? I'm flabbergasted, actually. What the fuck? How did this happen? Chris hitting me with the most dire proclamation possible. Not even Gecko beat Conception 2. Gecko, king of the garbage eaters. Could not finish Conception 2. God, look at how fucking smoothly this is running, though. Like, look at this shit. Everything gets frozen and then exploded before it can even reach me. This is some good shit. I'm pretty pleased with this character. Still got Righteous Fire for, something that I need to absolutely never ever ever die. But RF has so many brick mods, too. This character feels like its brick mods are both less severe and less common. Alright, so how deep can we go? This is monster level... Well, let's drop down to, like, level 77 and see how that feels. I had a whole bunch of pings on my phone. What are we doing here? Oh, absolutely nothing of importance? Okay. Why do I have this thing? Alright, so this is monster level 77, up from 72. Alright, so the individual bolts are activating maybe a little less. But overall, the effect is exactly the same. Tool says I'd be quite thrilled with an Infinite Delve League. If they do another 1 month event, I want it to be either Infinite Delve or just some stupid meme shit. Give me like 1 month Super Flashback or something where every League mod is on constantly at double value. That sounds like a lot of fun to me. So you walk into a Delve area and it's got fucking double Flashback, double Beyond. Or double Breach, double Beyond. Kadiro's in every map like 4 times. There's like 10 invasion bosses per map. Every rare has 2 Nemesis mods. I get that Chris is kind of very careful about doing prolonged, like, psychotic pinata events, because it kind of desensitizes people to the main game. But man, just once, I want to see them go absolutely fucking nuts with like a 1 month. I want to see shit where like all mods from all dropped items are fixed at T1, that kind of stuff. How we're going over here? Chris says you should just make a walking simulator called Relaxing Stroll, where you find some mysterious shoes and all of a sudden get to power walk through the world with the powers of your PoE character. Michael Bay's The Witness. Just the most disgusting crossbreed of like Gone Home and Goat Simulator. I'd be shocked if somebody hasn't done that already. Well, wouldn't it be nice? Alright, so if I go as low as my current delve allows me to... How low have we gotten here? We're at monster level 83? This is spending a lot more sulfite. Let's see if I can handle depth 83. This is pretty much as hard as monsters come in Path of Exile, at least in standard mapping. And it's exactly the same. It's just the same fucking character. Maybe margin... Okay, no, never mind. It's exactly as consistent. And also that happens when I get hit, because I'm at delve depth 278. So that's good. But hey, good to know that the damage is in place. That means all I have to do is get more defensive shit, and we're good to go. Like, I'm totally unconcerned with that. Besides, this is the kind of character where, like, you just run a cast on death portal on it in maps anyway. This character that goes so fast that nothing can stop it, not even death. Look at this, yeah, I lost XP. It's a big whoop. It's still going fast. Let's refresh heralds. Yeah, and the freeze prolif just being so valuable defensively. Like, Aberrath is really only used here as a trigger, and it makes me wonder if I can get better results if I use something else. Like, instead of using Aberraths, if I just go, like, 7 league steps or something for max movement speed and then trigger with, like, a lightning warp or a shield charge or something. That's a nice thought. Gecko asks, did I miss Conception 2 talk? I was talking about how the suggestion has been so weirdly compelling for me the past couple of days. Because I know for a fact that it will be a horrible, miserable experience, and that I'm signing myself up basically to not have any fun at all for as long as I can stomach it, for the entertainment of people who would probably be entertained just as much by something I actually didn't hate. But it confirms my understanding of the world in a way that's almost comforting. Like, yeah, Conception 2 is terrible. Everything's normal. Also, I had no idea it was, somehow fucking released for the, 3DS. Oh, is Wes renaming his characters? I saw WSL Glacial Hammer. Maybe I should get around to renaming my characters according to a standard scheme anyway. The idea of something like Conception 2 having the same, like, sort of transfixed, fucking bizarre, spellbinding spectator value as the moon landing. Jin says, IRC was originally on 3DS and Vita and then later came to PC. Yeah, I remember it launching on Vita. Every Vita owner like, oh man, can't wait for Conception 2. Conception 2 will save the system, guys. Gecko says, in my opinion, and hold on here, the 3DS version is the best version. Oh god, what 3DS specific version? Fuckery happens. Or is it just that the 3DS cartridge is the easiest to physically destroy? Gecko says, because without the second screen, the UI is way too fucking cluttered. Man, I wish the idea of, like, games outputting their, outputting stat readouts and stuff like that to a second display. I wish that had taken off a little bit more in the hardware space. Like, I know Microsoft wanted to do shit like Smart Glass. And I know a lot of PC games, it's like, I would love to have these fucking things, outputting stat readouts and shit to my second monitor. That'd be fantastic, dude. This is a good-ass guitar. I love when the sound engine in this game just gives up. It's like, dude, I don't know what you want. You're asking me to play 500 of the sound at once. And you want it to not clip? Are you insane? Fractured wall. I'm so glad they made these super worth, actually. Like, fractured walls have pretty good returns now. But yeah, I feel compelled to just play a whole bunch of shit. Maybe not even, like, go too deep on it. Play it for, like, a couple hours. As long as I... Hey. That's a worm's malt, my man. That is not a headhunter. But yeah, like I said, the idea of just playing a whole bunch of shit all at once and then just compiling whatever my impressions turn out to be for as long as I end up playing it. There's a part of me that's just addicted to keeping records in that way. That's why I worry so much about stuff like keeping the VODs archived. It's valuable data, you see. Oh jeez, how deep does this go? Is this just another encounter area? I've only got one more flare. Probably should just make it back to the fucking cart, huh? Forgotten? Well, there we go. Can I get away with this one? Hey, there we go. Remember, kids, always upgrade your flare radius. Wait, we're going over here now? Jesus Christ, Crawler, what are you doing? What is this pathing? Nearly 87 already. This clear speed, man. It's some strong stuff. Impulses might just be kind of a stupid item. Might just be the most moronic thing to ever exist. Something fucking weird happens sometimes when I'm playing games in exclusive full screen where my OBS preview just starts stuttering like crazy. So I look over and it looks like my stream is shitting itself and running like 3 seconds behind. That always makes me nervous even though I recognize it. It's like, oh, it's this bug again. Oh great, this fucking thing. Ouch. At least I got it to fuck off fairly quickly. You wanna land anytime this generation? Super engaging boss design. Yeah, and of course you're fucking standing on burning ground. So of course my character can't even like actually touch you. This is why I need that Poet's Pen set up. Which chaos do I have in here? Not a whole lot, but take 9C and combine it with... What are Poet's Pens going for right now? Let's see. I've been using the official trade site lately instead of PoE.trade. I like the way it's laid out a little bit more. The Poet's Pen, Carved Wand. Ugh, they're fucking 60C a piece. That's a little bit worse than I expected. They actually went up. How the fuck does this kind of item go up in price? Okay. Ah, well. Kurnos says, apparently my local scene wants to migrate from Third Strike to Marvel 2, which means it's gonna suck ass because nobody knows how this game works. Huh. Third Strike not doing it for you guys, huh? Uh-oh, I don't have any flares. Why am I here? Bang. I somehow followed this fucking shitpost video to some, like, clips compilation of some anime where this, apparently, like, what's happening at this point in the plot is that one of the, either the protagonist or the antagonist is literally just shooting people through their computer monitors because they're talking shit about him on 2chan or something. I don't know why I'm sharing this, except maybe, I don't know, I have a vague hope that somebody can tell me what the fuck is going on. Oh, anime. Kurnos says, let's say there are a lot of Akuma players around that I may or may not play Makoto, and I may or may not have learned how to use Super Art too. Oh, you are just devilish, huh? Oh shit, I didn't buy any more flares again. Time to suffer! Oh, hello. I kinda wish I could have grabbed the elemental immunity and the elementalist ascendancy, just so I didn't have to worry so much about using my flasks to cover stuff and still coming up short. Like, I don't want to get burnt by anything. Fuck that. Go fuck yourself. But hey. Jin says, I've literally never heard of that. Yeah, it's like, neither had I up until that point, but there's some fucking big climactic scene where, am I bear trapped? Okay. Where the dude just fucking hooks up on video chat with this super generic looking like greasy fucking internet troll. And then, hey! Huh. You know, that's actually not a bad armor. Like, that's, that got percent armor and really bad flat armor, but good percent armor, I think. That's like T3. Got hybrid flat armor in life. Decent fire res, bad cold res. That's pretty cool. I don't think I've had a 6-link drop this league. That's neat. I'm gonna throw that in the evaluation tab for later. I figure it probably goes for like maybe 10C more than a divine or something. Gecko says, I'm pretty sure there's a Super Sentai monster that does exactly that. What's this about Vol Rain of Arrows? Dude, I realized that Vol Blade Vortex existed the other day and just got unreasonably mad. Like, Blade Vortex has been strong for so long, it did not need a Vol version, and it definitely didn't need a Vol version that just doubles your damage. Frosty Escape says, hello, I saw a streamer where the side areas were, like, almost lit up completely. I don't understand how it's not pitch black to him. Any reason you can find? What I'm thinking is maybe, like, adjusted gamma on the monitor or something like that. So you can navigate a little bit easier in darkness. Reshade or something like that. You're probably better off asking them, to be honest, but that's my first take, is, like, gamma adjustment, like digital vibrance or reshade. Hey, buddy! Fuck! That feel when you actually have no defensive engine whatsoever. Frosty Escape says they didn't speak English? Okay. Yeah, it's like... I actually don't know how much of the areas in darkness are exposed, but it looks like they're just... Yeah, it's low lighting, but it's not like the game client is blacking them out, so any sort of utility that brought up the overall brightness, I don't know. Wells says that's what prevented your movement in the last Delve encounter? Ah, I see. And yeah, I've been ignoring that fucking currency node for the longest time. I don't fuck with hidden paths right now. I appreciate the visual, but at some point I'm gonna stop being lazy and just like search currency, because they apparently added a fucking search bar. Or they're going to, I'm not sure whether the patch is live yet. And I'm just gonna run around and grab all my currency nodes in one day. But for now I'm just kind of looking to autopilot. Gecko says, I've got Vol Rain of Arrows, but I never use it because I don't have enough hotkeys. I've got 3 auras running 2 minions, Walk, Barrage, Rain of Arrows, and Blink Arrow, I think, alongside Walk. So the trick for auras, right, is that auras will stay on even if they're not in a slot. Like, you can activate an aura and then clear its slot for something else, and the aura will stay on. So you can run multiple auras without them consuming slots, as long as you don't mind a little bit more of a runaround to put them back on when you die. For aura bots that run like 11 fucking auras and curses, that's actually necessary to put on all your shit in the first place. Vindicative says, dying back in the aura stacking days feels bad. Yeah. Back when you could fucking put reduced mana on auras, so everybody was running like 7 of them. God bless Path of Exile, honestly. Old Path of Exile, like, I like to complain about how fucking stupid the game is right now, but every time I really, really think back, I realize that old Path of Exile was so much stupider. It's so much dumber. Alright, can you please get off the fucking damaging ground so I can maybe actually, like, walk on you without burning to death? Like that. Agitating. This is what happens when you don't have single target in Abereth's character. It looks a lot like that. Back in fucking 2.6, you could just run Vol Righteous Fire on these types of characters and use Instant Leech. Because Vol Righteous Fire was one fucking big burst and it scaled to everything you want to scale this type of character with. It scales to Spell, it scales to Elemental. You can fucking crit with it, just stack like ailment damage and get a bazillion fucking damage burn going. You one-shot Breach Lords, you one-shot T15s. The only thing you didn't one-shot was multi-phase bosses, where the multi-phase bosses actually coded as separate enemies. That's pretty much it. Well says, remember the 5% all max auras node? Jesus. So much stupid nonsense. the 12,000 versions of old Vinktars, and Vinktars still being one of the best flasks in the game just because even though you can only run it on Pathfinder now, you can still run it on Pathfinder. Or a snapshotting in general, really. So we're gonna snapshot our Righteous Fire. Gonna fucking cast your minions from traps. Like, okay. No curse cap. I feel like... Man, like, party play doesn't need any buffs right now. But one of the things that I'd like to see in a theoretical rebalance of, like, solo versus party play, to make party play a little bit less obnoxious, is I'd like to see changes to curse caps so you can actually, like, characters that run one curse for selfish reasons aren't totally screwed over by the presence of another curse in the party. It's like, oh, my only source of leech is Warlord's Mark. Guess I can't party with anyone because their fucking curses overwrite mine. And yes, the Iron Man Infinite meme was Marvel 2. Easiest shit in Marvel 3, Marvel 2, fuck it. Iron Man. Light Punch? I miss old Vol Righteous Fire. I think out of everything I miss about this game, like in its earlier, dumber days, basically comes down to I miss Voltaxic Rift, and I miss old Vol Righteous Fire. Voltaxic Rift being the way it is right now feels so fucking bad. Like, when Grinding Gear nerfs something, they nerf it on a system level and then they nerf it on an individual level too. So, like, if we look at old Voltaxic Rift brought into the modern game, I really don't even think it would be that strong. For starters, all the meta bow skills already deal fucking chaos damage. Reflect is no longer just in every map. Like, you have to roll into it, so Reflect immunity is not nearly as important anymore. Double dipping with ailments isn't a thing anymore. It's like, what are we doing here? Oh god, Old Cast on Crit too. See, I never got the chance. I never played Old Cast on Crit. And I'm super sad that I missed the chance. The only thing that exists like it right now is the Heartbound loop cast on weapon swap loop builds. Gecko says, when Grinding Gear nerfs something, it turns it into USF4 DJ. Dude, seriously, it's crazy. Energy Shield is the best example of this, because not only did they nerf the primary defensive mechanic that Energy Shield benefited from, but then they also nerfed every source of Energy Shield gear in the entire game, and then they took away the more nodes behind Chaos Inoculation just to seal the fucking deal. They nerfed it like 4 times at once! Oh, frames? Good frames. Seems to be stabilizing. Chris says, sometimes I play Marvel 2 and wonder if the character's role simply functions of the iconic cast. Would it just be a KAC game? Magneto function. I'm still so fucking mad. What gets me is that MVCI actually looks fun as hell to play at higher levels too. I just like couldn't break through the initial wall of it feeling kind of bad. Like, I watch Abek play Marvel Infinite, and I'm like, holy shit, this game is fucking wild. The counter switch effect doesn't look even remotely finished at all, but looks fucking wild. Gecko says, I mean, you could say that about any game, really. Yeah. Because, like, mechanically, of course, like, the pieces of the game that make the game what it is, those are important, but I think a lot of the reasons that people seek competition in fighting games specifically is not really because of the actual mechanics of the game, but because of the game as like a method of interacting with your opponent in a way that's purer than a lot of other genres or styles offer. So in that way, like, no matter how trash the game's mechanics are at top level, as long as you're at top level and you've got someone to play with at top level, like, it takes a really, really shitty game to be unfun in that state. Because it's something that you build up yourself, you know? Yeah, ST is fucking... ST is garbage. ST is Kuso as hell. But because enough people are good at it, that the garbage is allowed to interact with other garbage, it becomes good again. The fucking Tao of garbage. What do I even want to do with this tree? Is there easy dexterity that I can get? 'Cause I mean, like, I don't have any compelling place to put my points, really. Like, practical application feels bad because I don't hardcast anything. Precision feels bad even though it has move speed and dexterity on it, because I don't really benefit from the attack and cast speed. So I guess I can spec towards this jewel, because duh. 3-point jewel here, 4-point jewel there. Maybe reach out and grab expertise, and then I don't know, tireless is there, I suppose. I think I probably ended the jewel socket. Gecko says Marvel 2 is bad, but it isn't fucking Street Fighter perfect. Ace Million, how could you do this to all of us? It's Retro Versus or something now, isn't it? Wild stuff. Like, the trailer for that game's mechanics reads like a fucking... So your friend who thinks they're really good at Soul Calibur because they can beat the AI on hardest. The trailer was written by that friend. We all have that friend. I'm going to assume, for the sake of simplicity, we all have that friend. And every design decision in Street Fighter Perfect seems to be motivated by that guy. There are a lot of that guys in the world. Now for me, that guy also happened to have a roommate that gave us bedbugs, and he stole Daryl's 3DS. There are various severities of that guy. Not every that guy has to be that fucking guy. You know what I'm getting at. Chris says, speaking of Soul Calibur, are you gonna quit your stream job to take drunk people's money in SC2 Casino Edition? I saw that and I thought it was gonna be fucking horrible, just cheating AI in like some garbage game or like a fucking slot machine or something. Some kind of weird like Injustice 2 arcade kind of deal. But it's actually amazing for no reason. I'm actually super hype about it for no fucking reason. Chris says that friend is my boyfriend. I'm so sorry. Oh no. Jin says that friend is my cousin. It's worse when they're related, isn't it? Let's run an Arachnid Tomb or something. I'm at a soul fight now, so... Hey, I gotta zoom this out a little bit. Hold on. There we go. I have a key bound to my fucking stream deck for the numpad. Because that's the only key in the game you can't rebind, is the shit to zoom your overlay map. I have no idea why it's like that. But yeah, I want to get this character's, like, I want to get the damage of Herald of Thunder higher. And I'm wondering how I would go about doing that. I want to, like, run it in a 7-link helm or something, and then somehow find the mana for it. I mean, it's 4-link right now, and I've still got a pretty fair amount of mana left, so you figure if one of those links happens to be like a level 4 Enlighten or something. Plus, I'm near the aura effect and mana reservation nodes, off of which... It's like a 7-link Herald of Thunder to make sure that the first bolt always triggers the chain. That's a super nice thought, man. Chris says, Namco is even planning on making a Tekken version so you can go to the casino, put up $100, death fist all day, and potentially win money. What do you mean potentially? What? You think a fucking casino... You think somebody drunk off their ass at a casino can block Demo Man? Free shit, my dude. Oh, wrist is buzzing. I'm not even gonna walk into the boss room because I have no single target set up, so I'm just gonna fucking walk back upstairs and see what I missed. Hello, Wes.
Hey AJ, hey stream. How's everything?
It's functioning like an autobomber.
So I did Hydra Deathless on my Glacial Hammer and I posted a boss video.
Nice, nice.
Updated the guide to the boss video, so that's 3 videos and a guide in a day, and it actually seems super fucking easy.
I mean, if you have the character working, it's really not... Like, you kind of just have to point it at something and then turn on the recording.
Yeah, that's what I figure. I'll try to do it that way so that it's not hey, Jen, how's it going, man? And, oh no, I don't know. Kiernos?
Karnos.
Kurnos, okay. Yo guys, how's it going?
You can just guess and say something random, and I think people will
Schnitzel?
understand.
Hi, Schnitzel.
That's good.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to do.
So, this is still...
I love that you're just gold-riming it.
Yeah.
Like,
Doidris Tenure is actually doing negative nothing for me right now.
you could potentially get one of those reduces nearby enemy resist Crown of the Tyrant. It's like reduces nearby enemy elements.
But what is
by 10.
nearby?
Yeah.
Otherwise I would have gotten a singularity, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you could, but Doriani's Catalyst is better than the Singularity for something like this because it's Ellie versus Spell, right?
Oh, it is giving me 0.2% leech to his life. God damn, that recovery was fucking pathetic. I didn't even notice it. It's why I put on the Edzirius. It's because I thought I had no leech.
Yeah, the leech is tough. I don't know if it's... I wonder if you get leech from like a Herald of Thunder hit. Probably.
Yeah, I'm thinking like...
Gotta source you.
Probably the way this goes insane is just putting it in like a 7-link helmet for Herald of Thunder. Level 4 Enlighten.
What's it called? The Tempestuous...
The Tempest Binding?
Tempest Binding? There we go. Hey Wells, how's it going, man? How you guys all doing? Hanging out?
The Tempest's Binding. Supported by level 18 Icebite, level 18 Innervate, Summon Harbinger of Storms,
Harbinger of Storms.
80 life, 60 ES, 15 all res.
Occasionally apply chill or shock to an enemy that chains to other nearby enemies.
So
Harbinger
more
of
fucking
Storms
Proleth.
just walks around chilling and shocking people. That's cool.
So let's see then. This is...
Hey guys. Everybody say hi to me.
The Tempest's Binding.
It's apparently turning into a streamer house because I'm now doing the thing, which is crazy and fucked up because I've... Hello Wes, how's the spine doing? My back does always hurt, and it's because of my intestines. My intestines are where the problem is.
So Tempest Binding is like 1.5x. If I can get
It's not
absolutely
bad.
no one to sell it to me, 2x. Yeah, it's like that's
That's like what, like maybe 2 hours worth of farming for you if you're going slow.
yeah, really.
It's a good helmet. It's got life on it. It's got all res.
Yeah, it's like it's basically a good shaper helmet.
It really is. It's one of the better helmets in the game for a lot of stuff. This one has Righteous Fire stuff. That's
Yeah,
pretty funny.
Righteous Fire grants 30% increased spell.
If only that applied to Vol Righteous Fire and you could actually use it.
Right.
Dude, Agony Crawler apparently does so much damage. Like, I've looked at builds that say like their Agony Crawler is doing like 500,000 damage. It's not bad.
I'm still fucking Dex pinned, and I'm sitting here like, what do I get first? Fuck. Poet's Pens, Astromentus, fucking Wacko Helmet, anything that isn't this.
Well, you don't need the spell damage.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything for me since.
I mean, like, your Aberraths is
Yeah.
only a trigger, and it's not, like, increasing your Aberraths, I guess, kind of increases your single target.
I'm honestly looking at this more and more like, I just don't want to be Aberraths, and I free up the links in there for, like, a Lightning Warp or something.
I told you, man. I'm gonna try putting together a Pathfinder maybe dual wielding Poet's Pens, maybe one Poet's Pen and a Sappho's Frame with Omeacon and like Divination Distillate, and just
Right.
have it do Lightning Warp, because the setup's great, but it feels stupid to be running Aberrath. It's just like, and I looked at it and I'm like, it doesn't
Yeah,
feel
because
like it
we
fits
came to
the
this
build.
conclusion the fucking last time that something
Yeah.
nearly became an autobomber. We actually spec'd the old Aberrath's character, like the very, very first one, out of being an autobomber to focus on Aberrath's damage instead, and then it walked on Breach Lords in T15 maps.
Yeah, fair enough. With the last one at the very least, the Assassin Aberrath with the LA scaling, that one was like river dancing on red map bosses, because you scale Aberraths from multi and it's like the only way to get the flat numbers up high.
Yeah. So I took the old belt from my RF character and just slammed it on here. This is still like a 0 level wreck jewel that's just hanging out.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's like, it's so strong and I've done so little work.
Yep.
Just because... 10%! What the fuck?
It's 10% run through like what? I mean, you could look at it on Path to Building, but I think it's probably like...
Will it actually show this as a
500%.
skill? It doesn't expose it as a skill, so...
But I think you might be able to select it in calcs. I'm not sure.
But yeah, it's like... Just think about all the fucking minion that I've got on tree.
What you
It's
could
like
do, right,
12,
is
12, 20, 10...
you could look at the explosion portion of Herald of Ice, because it's all the same scaling.
Lysander says, anyone here or Tyrone care to take the time to help me with my TS build? Shall we?
What's your TS build? I mean, yeah.
Hit me with a fucking Path of Building, and as long as we're both here, we'll take a look.
I'll spend like 5-10 minutes looking at it. I'm actually just about to do a TS character. I'm thinking about doing a build guide.
By thinking about, he means I'm thinking about how long it's going to take me.
Probably only a day. I could level up to 90 in a day and then just record
Yeah, I was
doing Hydra.
Leveling on this character has been so fucking fast. Like 135 million XP per hour at 87 with deaths because I just run at bosses sometimes. Fucking Skelebear just kinda duffed me.
I don't think it's taken me longer than 5.5 hours to get to Blood Aqueducts in like the last 3 characters that I've leveled. So
I'm not quite that strong yet, but it was easier this time. I think I'm gonna do kits for myself like that.
yeah, I think you
Basically
should.
every time.
And have something set up for single target probably next time.
So I'm waiting on this Path of Building link, may as well.
Get something to eat.
What are we doing here?
Enjoy your food, man.
So I stopped picking up all rares except for jewelry, basically.
So Daryl gave me every bit of everything off of his account.
How much did that come out to?
I don't know. I haven't tallied it. It's a drop in the bucket, honestly. Probably like 10 exalts, maybe.
Yeah, and you could say 10
maybe a
exalts
little
is a
more
drop in
than
the
that.
bucket.
It's probably 25, maybe. He didn't like. He had to keep the raw X in the chaos because he had.
He's in debt or something?
Maybe a couple of people to spot back, but you know.
Yeah, it's just the nature of it. It's like, hey, I want to get started late in the league, and people just throw shit at you like Godspeed.
Yeah.
Did I? Shit, I'm stupid.
I think just gotten better playing this league, so next league is probably gonna be a fiasco. I'm probably gonna be swimming in currency early league.
Lysander says updating POB now, 1 minute. No rush, dude.
The thing I got used to doing this league that I hadn't done previous leagues is I'm probably gonna get the Masters rushed up to 8 next league within a week.
You're just gonna do rotas super hard early?
Well, yeah, you just take your daily and you do a rota with it every single day. Like, you run a rota so that you don't have to wait. And then what you do is you just use a Gracious Master on every single master. They're like 5 to 10 C a pop. And you just... That's where all your early currency goes, because you get Zana to 8 and it's free map sustain, you get your map completion done, and it's like every once in a while you just sit in your hideout and sell maps for chisels and ball orbs. Uploading POB now. Alright. The TS build I'm gonna do is gonna involve a Doomfletch's Prison.
It's such a cute bow.
It is, I love it. It's just, I like the aesthetic of it. It's like, do all elemental damage.
Especially considering that, like, elemental in the current state of path basically reads like there are 2 elements, fire and cold lightning.
Fire's in a weird place. I actually want to check out, there are some builds out there and some build guides that they deal damage using Ignite, and I don't know how they're doing it, because I've never played around with that, but I'm probably going to do a little bit of digging, figure it out for myself. Dump tabs, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. It just lets me move a little bit easier. I am kind of by my nature a lazy piece of shit when it comes to looting.
I get it. I've done all sorts of dump tabs.
I've gone back and forth on whether I actually want to do this, and I think this time I've finally decided, like, for good. It just runs so goddamn smoothly. Except when I forget my own order.
Every once in a while I try to sell my jeweler orbs back to the vendor, because I'm just on autopilot, and I'm looking confusedly for whatever reason at the trade window with my jewelers and the vendor, and I'm like, is on item? I'm sorry, I don't want to sell you these.
Alright, so we got a POB. Let's take a look at this.
Alrighty.
So, import build from paste bin. I'm gonna take a quick look at this before I slam the display capture on.
Pathing looks good at a glance.
Alright, let's do this.
Hey, what are you having trouble with, by the way, if anything? You're throwing the build at us, so I kind of want to know, like, if you're struggling with anything, because that gives me direction. Just feel free to dump text into chat. I'll take a look while AJ paws around with the build.
What to do next? Different context than we usually get.
Dying.
So.
Says he's dying. All my money on the helm.
Alright, so what's the helm then? Well, that would do it. 2-socket light poacher.
Yeah, people do that. TS. Samariketh bow. Do you have a +1 projectiles quiver? That's a huge piece.
No calcs here. I see a blood rage, so it does use frenzy. Flask cover onslaught, etc.
See enemy shocked? Probably. Check the calcs for potential shock. TS selected.
Yeah, so...
Are we shocking? Are we critting? We're probably critting. Chance
21%. And
yeah,
I
so
see.
You're shocking.
Alright, so... Let's just be kind about this one.
Bow needs updating. Can I see the bow? 18 faster projectiles, 21% fizz, 361 DPS is awesome actually. Like this doesn't need updating really.
I mean, you can, but
I mean, take a Death's Opus, right, and just like crank it up to maximum stats and see if it's an up. That's how you tell, really, if your bow's good. Is there
so you're
any
losing
other,
12%.
Are there any other stats in there? Fizz damage and flat damage?
It's obnoxious. You have to toggle that. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's better than a Death's Opus, so you're at your end game bow. If your damage isn't where it should be, it's because something else is wrong with the build, not the bow. Need to know what I'm missing here. Alright, well... Heat, Gluttony, do you have an Impulses? Are you somehow immune to shock?
Yeah, that's my immediate.
Because if you're getting shocked, you're going to take 50% more damage.
Is there... Let me double check Ascendancy here. Accuracy.
Sure there's
one
anything in the
shade,
Deadeye.
shot. Yeah.
So I think he's getting shocked. I know I need to update flasks. Alright, well that's the first step. You want Stibnite Flask of Gluttony. That Stibnite Flask of Gluttony has to become a Stibnite Flask of Grounding. That's the first step. Stibnite, Quicksilver, Amethyst. You're running Queen of the Forest, right? So that Surgeon's Quicksilver can become a Jade.
Yeah.
It needs to be a Jade Flask of Heat. Why are you running a Sorrow of the Divine? Get rid of it. You just need the Sorrow of the Sorrow of the Divine needs to become a Jade Flask of probably Adrenaline, or actually Grounding.
Yeah, just
A Jade Flask of Grounding. You don't have a Reflexes here anywhere either.
I'd like to see, like... I don't know, I'd like to see a Basalt, honestly. Just because... Like, if stuff is busting through evasion, then you kind of need a second layer, and percent physical mitigation is
Yo,
like...
Daryl, how's it going?
The shock is a big thing, though, definitely.
This pathing is not the way I typically see it. I typically see the pathing, I see people go like this. Oh no, he's a bow character, so this is gonna be fine. Up here through forces of nature. It's got the life up here. Frenzy charges are like wildly necessary. People usually like to stick to the outside of the tree for this one because what ends up happening is that you
More
get
flexible travel.
well, yeah, you get int here, and you generally need
Yeah, we got a
stats
30 inch
requirements.
there, so... Very nearly unpins him just by pathing in that direction. Because those 30 stat nodes always
you
feel
still
kind of
want
bad.
to walk up to the ES life node there, above you know, this thing.
Yeah. Nullification.
That's just necessary. It's a good 2 points. What's it? It's all res and max life.
So, total EHP...
Which pieces is he missing life on? It's
Oh,
like
yeah, there's gotta be something, so...
you're searching eyes, like you're
Gloves,
as a TS build, what you want to prioritize for damage and clear is you want extra projectiles. That means potentially getting a Dying Sun, it means getting a +1 quiver, stuff like that's going to help your clear and damage out to the extent that you can actually like back off of putting damage on other stuff. So it's like Abyss Jewels. You'll be able to put life on your Abyss Jewels instead of something else if you can just get those extra projectiles. I know I've named a lot of flasks here. Your flasks are very unusual for what I typically see.
yeah.
The Stibnite, generally people, I think, opt for like a Jade of Reflexes over the Stibnite, before the Stibnite with Queen of the Forest, I think. Daryl can probably weigh in on this. He's way more familiar with, if he's still there,
Play
way more familiar
weakness,
with TS builds than I am.
Did I actually turn all your fucking...
TS
alks on?
Tailwind.
Okay.
It's got Tailwind.
Let's be...
Is this crit chance lucky? It doesn't have a diamond. It's bleeding. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, we're crit with no diamond for some reason, or...
No, it's just that their crit exists on the build, which
Also,
is fine.
double surgeons feels super bad. Just like, not to go back to the flasks again, but
Yeah, well, the flasks are a problem. The flasks, from what we've experienced in these Build Doctor episodes, is like, the flasks are the biggest concern. People just don't know how to optimize their flask use. It's like, you'd much rather get 2 uses out of a flask for a boss than doing like surgeons on a build with
Which
low
is
crit.
bouncing between both of these flasks instead of ever actually gaining both.
If crit just exists, then why is he grabbing Heartseeker? Well, go to the tree, hit P, and see if it's actually good damage. Like despec it, hit P for show power nodes, and let's see if it compares to other comparable damage. I only usually see people take half of this deadly draw wheel.
Yeah, for crit. Wheel. I guess lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah. Yeah, the life is a problem. Does he have thick skin spect? Yeah, he's got thick skin. Normally what I see people do... you know, here, let me toy with it for 1 second. So yeah, I don't think those are necessary. Walking out through this life is good. Typically I see people do this, because flasks are just fucking good. Quick step is awesome. This is a very weird way to path through this.
Ailment stuff up there.
Yeah, I don't see this. Is this normal to take Volpact in these Vitality Void? You are running an Aziri's Promise, but you have a Divine Life Flask of Staunching. I'd just go with Seething over Surgeons for sure there. This is crazy.
Oh, that's a Surgeon's life. Okay.
Yeah, you just need a Seething Life Flask so that you can survive spiky damage. I do not usually see people come up here like this, King of the Hill. You're kind of half-specking crit, which is a problem. Like, your damage could probably be significantly better if you just spec'd the really... So make sure to have power nodes on here so you can kind of, at a glance, get like what kind of stuff you're doing. If you want a huge upgrade, you can just shove a Lionized Fall in here. It's like an Exalt, maybe 2, something like that, I believe. Maybe even a little more, hopefully not. But if you do Lionized Fall in here, you can spec Soul Raker for your bows. You want to Lionized Fall me?
Sure thing.
So this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about efficient damage specking, right? Put the Lionized Fall in here. Oh, did I put it in the wrong one? Because I'm a genius. Let me see. None. Lionized Fall. Boom. At this point, you can spec all of this. And that's generally the bow nodes that people go. And then one of these is better than the other, which is it? 2.0 per point. Total DPS, 2.8 per point. 'Cause normally people only spec one of these. And I think this is the ailments half. Yeah, this is the ailments half, so may as well save yourself some points and not spec here. And then when you have these extra points left over, you spec stuff like Primal Spirit and Druidic Rite, so you can have more flask uptime. And yeah, some life jewels and nullification, and you ought to be good. Where's the total life here now at this point?
3825. Increased life
122.
122.
Yeah, how I normally see people do this is they'll just go like this. This is getting weird. I probably have to despec some stuff. I generally see people do this number right here. And spec the rest of this.
I haven't played a bow character since Nemesis, so I'm a spectator here too.
Yeah, I'm not super good at this. Daryl's probably weighing in. The accuracy is nice from the +1 projectile, part of that ascendancy.
Yeah, something about the extra prod from Deadeye being missing.
Oh yeah, that's huge. It's right here, right? Yeah. That's a huge node right there. More ricochet, skills chain +1 times. Yeah, I think you generally see this on builds, because you want the accuracy. So your accuracy is, let me see. See, your effective crit chance is going to be lower than your actual crit chance if your accuracy is lower. The flat accuracy and then double it. That's what I see people typically do. 15% crit's pretty good. Pretty good. I just don't think it's really like, I don't think he's full on crit or whatever. It's just not there. You know, maybe if he had gone Death's Opus or something, that's what I see people do. Like for league starter builds. if you want more consistent shock, you want more consistent. Did you ever tick shock? Probably should.
Yeah, I think shock is.
Okay. Yeah. What else with the gear?
Yeah, it's like I saw bad to decent life on every piece, basically.
68 life, 71 life, those are good.
Like, crafted life on this is gonna...
It's really just a matter of he doesn't have the percentage spec on the trade. Now he kind of does. 140 is
140 is a lot better, yeah.
But I've bumped his levels up, so he's gonna cut damage in places, and the way he's gonna be able to do that is by getting an up like Lionized Fall. That's gonna make it a lot easier.
The structure of the thing is still kind of weird to me, though.
Signal fire is, I don't think that's what you want. I think you want like the, what's the fractured spinner? You want to price check that for us?
Let's see. Fractured spinner, huh?
Yeah, I think Daryl can confirm. And I'd listen to Waifugate in the chat.
Fracturing spinner, blunder
Fracturing spinner. Yeah, he's played way more
40C
TS than I have. So 40C for a fracturing spinner. And what people try to do is they try to get one of these corrupted with +1. Do fracturing spinner, that's probably an up from the signal fire, I think.
Nah, not at least the way the calcs are.
Let me see, what's Harbinger of Directions gives you a projectile, I think. Fire damage to spells and attacks, strength and dex, 20 to fire and cold. Yeah, the stats. I would, people use this, don't use the signal fire, I don't know why. I'd say it's probably that +1 projectile on the Harbinger of Directions, but Daryl can verify. So, you know.
Vindicator says, yeah, below 5k it's insta-bop territory without other defenses. Yeah, exactly. Like, one layer is not enough to keep you safe at that pool. Which, I mean, like, sometimes your layer can be damaged.
Well, you get avoidance.
It's possible.
You have a lot of avoidance, like a jade of reflexes.
Yeah.
Really gonna help.
It's at least gonna cut down significantly to just fucking fix all the flasks.
So who is this that we're talking to?
We're looking at Lysander.
Alright, so Lysander, you said it yourself, man, when you popped us the link. Your flasks need to be updated. That's huge. You know, figure that out. Go to Po Ninja, reference people who are doing Tornado Shot that are not you. That are using similar gear and similar setups, and look at what their flask setup's like. People generally run something like Dying Sun because it gives your Herald of Ice AoE. It's an inexpensive piece though. If you want small ups, a Jade of Reflexes, you need a Divine Life Flask of Staunch. Like, you need a Seething of Staunching so that it's instant. That way you don't have to rely on the small amounts of leech that you're getting from Azuri's Flask and the skill tree. Non-Slayer leech doesn't feel great. It's okay, but it's... I don't see a lot of people rely on it.
Yeah, this bow has... it does have fuck all for crits, so...
I mean, if you just replace it with a perfectly rolled Death's Opus, and your crits will be going off more, it means that you freeze more often, which means, I mean, that's safety from stuff like off-screen projectiles. If you're freezing mobs that are very far away from you, those mobs can't hurl projectiles at you, so that makes you safer, generally speaking. This guy's just MF is...
Yeah, I'm looking at this fucking MF tornado shot on the other screen. Dude is just...
scroll down, like, I bet he's not... Like, he's not ball packed, see? This is, like, really common. So if you hit back real quick, right? Just so... He's got tornado shot, right?
Yeah.
And is he like Herald of Ice as well?
Is he? What are we... Probably should take a look at fucking links.
Herald of Ice,
Herald of Ice,
Onslaught, Elemental Weakness. Onslaught's alright on Herald of Ice.
So 5-link Herald
Ice
of
Bite's
Ice.
good too. If you don't want to run Blood Rage.
GMP, LA, Vicious Projectiles, Physical Lightning, faster attacks.
Tornado Shot, GMP, LE damage with attacks, Vicious Proj.
I've got no clue whether this is right, I'm gonna be honest.
I think he's just trying to convert all of his damage so he can scale LE, which is not the way that it's done, I don't think. And the bow adds a 7-link. Yeah, but faster Proj is a super weak 7-link. super weak. Faster proj, like it's faster projectiles feels kind of okay-ish. It's not like you're playing Freezing Pulse. It feels alright, but it's like you don't need it. You could just run a Death's Opus. Like this bow is almost over the top. Like it's a little silly. And the faster projectiles is an increased damage, not a more damage, so it's not multiplicative with the rest of your damage.
So the guide is 3.1. Okay, 3.4. The URL says 3.1.
Tornado Shot, Deadeye Ranger. I don't know.
Holy shit, fuck.
This
is literally an RMT out on the side of the fucking build.
Just don't follow this build. Go to PoE Ninja and search
I'm curious.
builds that are similar to yours. And take try to actually figure out what they're doing too.
Unreal, dude.
So you know what the individual moving pieces are doing.
This build actually exists solely as a shell for an RMT site. It happens. It's a good trick, but
I feel like Light Poacher's memes on builds like this. I'd rather see like a Starkonia's, and at least as long as you're having survivability problems. Queen is good, but you need more evae.
Look at this. There's RMT links literally in the build guide.
That's nuts.
That's so crazy. I didn't even know people did this.
Yeah, we'll sell it for 1.3x and get a Starkonia's. It's like I'd like to see, because here's the thing, what's Light Poacher giving him? Like let me take a look at Light Poacher, right? It's giving you that effect, that on death effect, right? Is that where you're getting your damage scaling from? Because I don't think so. It's giving you 2 Abyss Sockets, which is extremely nice. But like a Starkonia's is gonna give you, where's the helmet? It's gonna give you more evasion, right? It's gonna give you more life.
Any life.
I mean, like, because you need life, dude. Until you're at like 5.5k. If this isn't an MF build, like if this is a build that's actually meant to do content and you want it to feel strong, you want to put evae and life on it. You want to scale that evae with a Jade of Reflexes. You want to run the Stib Knight, but the thing is the Stib Knight's only saving you from melee mobs, basically, right? The mobs that are off-screen firing projectiles at you that are probably clipping you for 3/4 of your health, it's not saving you from those.
And then while your non-instant life flask is ticking, something finishes the job.
Yeah, you just need you need an instant life flask. You need to spec those flask nodes that I spec'd for you so that you can actually keep it up all the time.
Lysander says, the jewels are giving me life though, not these ones. Are you thinking of something else?
Yeah, I was about to say the ones that are in your helmet. Ones that are in your helmet are all damage. Yeah, the other jewels that you get to keep. I mean, I spec'd another jewel socket for you. I know you gained a couple levels.
The tree is
Well, just get rid of this.
Yeah,
get rid of this.
Yeah, you could chop up a lot.
Because if he sells that helmet back for 1.3x, that's part of your way to Lionize Fall. Alright, so just gotta think of it that way.
Yeah.
I don't think this is worth it for him either, honestly.
Yes. I don't like 4-point jewels, generally speaking.
I mean, he's just got jewels that are much closer.
So we're looking at like, what can we go through? So, 2 points.
Yeah,
if we're gonna go out here.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, get rid of that thing there. Go the 2 points to that jewel socket. That just nets you that jewel socket again. Despec the bow wheel, because fuck it. You got the Soul Raker wheel if you can get a Lionize.
Yeah, this is what, -7%.
We just want to bring him back to
points,
like, what's his required level? Is it 89 yet? There you go.
87.
You win. And this is how much more life? 143. Get an instant life flask, and you are gonna feel way better. Replace your Light Poacher with the Starkonia's for the time being. I'd say those are clean fixes. You will feel more durable.
Yeah. The core engine is still like. Is that?
Yep.
I always hate the way this looks, no matter what happens, as soon as any build involves nullification. The placement of this fucking thing is just so ugly that I constantly try to find ways to optimize around it, despite it being fine.
It didn't save him a point, but it got him life.
Yeah.
So.
Pathing through this direction instead.
Yep.
And then.
Replace his helmet with a well-rolled Starkonia's.
Alright,
What's
so
his
let's...
evade right now? Evasion rating 25,000, 221. Chance to evade 61%. Alright. Then start.
So if we crank this, just...
Yeah, just hit him with a max Darkonius who gives place the light poacher. Give him a fidget spinner instead of a signal fire. Just
you have to say the actual name of it or I'm gonna dry.
The fracturing spinner?
Actually, did I already add it here?
Yeah, place the crank it.
It's a little bit of a gear turnover here. I didn't roll that up at all, actually. Fuck it.
He's just gonna feel better. I really do think that Harbinger might give you an extra projectile, and even if it's only 50% uptime, that extra projectile is gonna make you feel a lot better. This is how people typically run it, I think. Stop trying to convert all your damage, because you're not scaling any elemental.
So if we're looking at links...
Like, he's
then...
running Ellie weakness right now, which is fine. But, you know, it's an aggressive curse. You could get Ellie weakness on gloves. Like, just...
And these are rare gloves, so...
These are rare gloves with max life. If you want to scale crit, you know, if you slapped a Death's Opus on this, like a really well rolled Death's Opus and a really well rolled Maligaro's Virtuosity with Ellie weakness on hit, and those things are not impossible to get by any stretch of the
Is this thing just
imagination.
completely... Is this per projectile? Is that what we're reading here?
What, for Dying Sun?
It just did, no read deeps increase, so it's per projectile, I guess? So.
Yeah, it is per projectile. And that's why, like, it's very difficult to figure out. I've been told, like, as a veteran player, it sometimes gives people build advice. I just get told, like, no whenever their read DPS drops. But it's like, you know, the read DPS isn't everything. Their effective DPS is way more important, and POV does not always give you your effective DPS. So,
Well, that's right. Right now, jewels are empty. Quick check on, like...
yeah, just give them, like, a 7% life.
Yeah, I wanted to check
Like,
7% life versus flat life on Abyss jewels.
I think at this point you want percent.
So just like generic 7% life garbage jewel versus...
As long as you're running like a big old flat Starconias and flat on like every rare, and you've only got 140% on the tree, I think percent will work out, but it might be better if you could get a perfectly rolled Abyss. The thing is like you can get 7% life jewels for nothing with resistance, dual resistance on them. They're like maybe 10-15 C.
Yeah, so 7% better than a max flat roll, which is true for most characters.
Well, it's true for most characters below 150 that have good flat on their gear.
Yeah,
That's
which
where you
is most characters.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so like put literal garbage jewels in here that's just like 7% life and anything else.
Yep, slot 2 7% life.
And you're nearly to 5k, which is nearly the threshold for being considered a build that doesn't die when slightly nudged.
What did he start at? Like
Under 4k?
Yeah, you know, 1,000 life makes a huge difference.
And like cut a small amount of... Okay, so... Life's a little bit of a ways out here at a 5%er that we can spec. Still...
Learn to fire directly behind mobs because it increases your damage significantly with TS. If you're using single target, like TS for single target instead of barrage or whatever, fire is like right behind the mob, and it like try to figure out exactly where that sweet spot is.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff that you can scale
Frenzy,
into
definitely
easily as you
respect that
level.
What's he got for what are we at for levels?
90.
There's one
So
level
we're
off of
on.
that.
Yeah.
Frenzies are a more multiplier. They give you more damage, my man. It's huge.
Total more. So we're running in at Xeris.
Hey, bring up the
The Sorrow of the Divine. Let's go ahead and fix flasks if we're gonna...
Sure.
Throw
I mean,
this
take
out.
that Sorrow out and just put in a Jade of Reflexes.
Yeah.
And then change that Stibnite to an of Grounding. And he'll be okay.
I really wish this thing, What prefix did you say? What is this thing? 30 of 60?
So that's gonna want to be a Chemist's.
Yeah.
A max rolled Chemist's. No.
Does it? No, it doesn't
No,
give you
no,
the
it's
extra
the,
use,
it's the
so we
ample.
want it to be...
because ample will bring it up to, no.
Yeah, no, it's,
Experimenters, my bad. It's 30 of 60. Whenever it's 2 charges automatically, you just roll experimenters. I'm just slipping. Bring up the,
could even go Alchemist if you want to go nuts, but like, hey, oh, look at that. Jade Flask gives you fucking million evasion rating.
Hey, Daryl.
Ton of MS, 10% evade chance. Just think of that as 10% mitigation, really.
Let me pull your experience one more time. How, bring up the TS links. How bad are his TS links? He needs like Mirage Archer, right? Mirage Archer is just best in slot forever.
For every fucking bow character.
No, seriously. Like, it's gonna bring your read DPS down because it doesn't really account for it properly, but it's going to make clearing a breeze and it's gonna bring your actual DPS up. You gotta run it. Run it instead of physical to lightning, because that is not a real gem.
30, 16. Faster attacks is like always going to be the weakest link in a given setup, honestly.
The
but
Fizz to lightning is making this weird. It's prioritizing LE scaling over
screwing up the read a lot.
Other stuff. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Daryl will correct me, but I think the Fizz to lightning is just garbage.
See, Daryl's with me. What the fuck is faster attacks?
Yeah,
it's like you're already getting so much.
Those number one.
So slam a Mirage Archer here.
Mirage Archer, and
then POB suggests physical to lightning back again.
It's just. Daryl can tell me whether that's real or not. Fist lightning's fine, but only if you're converting the LE damage fully. Don't. Right? I mean, do people do that all the time? Like, I generally just see people run like, because he's running Signal Fire, or he was. Replace that already?
Yeah, we got Signal Fire out of there. It's,
Fracturing Spinner now?
Yep.
For damage over time. I mean, that's only if you're igniting.
It seems like it's just strong as hell for no reason now.
Vicious Proj is what P-Pad became, and it still carries the same war multiplier from what I understand.
Yeah, the conversion does seem like it needs a lot of pieces for not enough benefit.
I don't know if conversion is real. You could just run LMP. Like, you could legit just get more projectiles, or like Fizz to lightning's fine for now. It's just gonna increase your shock, I guess. If it's the next best, go ahead. But like, you know, eventually someday you're gonna get more Fizz, and that's probably not gonna be true. Definitely kill the faster attacks. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, Vindicative suggesting probably drop Onslaught nodes, get % Onslaught on a Jewel.
I mean, you could. The Onslaught nodes aren't half bad. It's free on a Jewel, though.
What am I even?
The Onslaught nodes are down there.
Ah, there we go. Barely. Yeah, this is like 12.
I mean, if you do this, you could...
Like, those aren't terrible, yeah, but if you're already sustaining at a minimum speed, then definitely easier to get it as a Jewel property.
I like Graceful Assault. I think it's fine. I see a lot of people spec it.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't seem like the problem to me.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of build doctoring. I don't think it's gonna go on much longer.
But yeah, we'll go ahead and get you an instant life flask. Life.
Yeah, I can't express to you properly how much of a quality of life improvement extra projectiles is gonna be. But it's huge, so.
Seething, staunching, the one and only.
What's a +1 fracturing spinner cost?
Oh boy, let's see.
Like,
I actually don't know if I know off the top of my head how to search that on the official site. Monsters fire additional protect. Good. Excellent. What is the mod worded as?
It's an implicit, so we're here. It's fires an additional projectile.
Yeah, there we go. Singular. Skills fire an additional projectile.
Yeah, there you go. It's probably a lot, but hey, he just dropped like 1.3 on a...
Zero.
Oh, maybe it's not. Is it not a corruption? I think it is a corruption. I wonder why people aren't doing that. Alright.
How the
All right,
fuck
thanks
does
for weighing in,
anybody...
Daryl. We
Corrupted,
appreciate it.
yes.
There you go. Now search for the +1. Right, or was it either before?
It was either before, I think. Yeah, this is all we've got for corrupted, so... I guess it's not a common target right now.
Yeah, probably not. What people gun for, and it's just a lot of currency, is just like a +1 rig welds. But I've heard people say repeatedly that fracturing spinner is preferable to a non-corrupted +1 rig welds.
So, flask utility. Oh, that's a basalt, because I'm a genius. So we get you...
And the Jada reflex, is he gonna run so much faster?
Yeah, the Stibnite. Yeah, I gave him like 30% speed or something.
Yeah, that's wild. It's like an adrenaline.
So for the Stibnite, we do... It's 10 of 30, so...
10
This
of 30
is-
is 3 uses to experimenters.
His
Or
experimenters.
if you do ample, do you get 2 more uses out of it? Yeah, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So do that. Now it's 5 uses.
And
Just leave 5
then...
smoke clouds. It's fine.
yes. Grounding here.
Yeah, probably grounding. Maybe warding.
Warding is something you can avoid, just like as you roll maps. It
It is,
feels
but
super
you're more
obnoxious,
likely
though.
to see a curse than you are to encounter something that shocks you, I think.
For sure.
So, like, if you get Ellie weaknessed,
So it could be grounding, it could be
be
warding.
warding. Like, just ditch the Adzeris for a Quicksilver of warding. Ditch it. I just, like, he needs something. He needs,
Yeah, there's some stuff to uproot here. Keep in mind these are still garbage 1-prop jewels. So.
like, I love Adzeris Promise as much as the next guy, but some builds don't need it. If you're not benefiting super heavily from the Life Leech. He was Volpacked initially there, to be fair. Adzeris Step are great, that's good. Queen is good. It looks good to me. I prefer heavier crit. Like,
Yeah.
he got some swag rares.
Yeah. But the engine at this point is still... Like, this is what the character can be just by fixing a handful of superficial or suboptimal things. Just like stuff that'll improve your life in the short term, pretty straightforward.
So one thing, final thing that I'll mention that's just another stupid nuanced build thing is like, so Death's Opus brings your damage down, what, 5%? That's one solid node, right? But it brings your crit up by how much? Like, get a good rolled one again.
Yeah, so let's max
How
it
much?
just to be optimistic.
How much damage? So it brings your crit up, your effective crit chance up by 6%. Brings your crit multi way up, but brings your DPS down by how much? 25%? Really? Yeah, it's kind of garbage, actually.
See, because now you're trying to be crit with no crit on tree and no diamond, so gotta commit to it one way or the other.
Well, the problem is that like when you're doing something like this, if you are scaling Ellie, like you got Fistolate and you want to shock, and you want to shock a lot, because shock stacks up to 50%. Is it 50? Is it not 30 now?
I think it goes to 50. I'm
It
not.
goes to 50. But anyway, yeah, if like you gotta figure that you're not getting your shock up to 50% commonly on monsters right now, which means that even if this decreases your damage by like, 10 to 25%, if you were getting your shock from 25% to 50%, then that's 25% more.
Yeah, because Path of Building, you can click enemy is shocked on in Path of Building, but it won't be able to tell you how often you shock or for what magnitude.
Yeah, it just applies the maximum shock, I think, which is a huge bummer. So like the damage is lying to you anyway, I think. I'm not sure. But yeah, anyway, that was my final thought was, just be careful about the DPS. You gotta think through how you're dealing damage every time. You can't be lazy about it. Following build guides is great and do that, but think it through.
Yeah, so hopefully that was helpful in at least some capacity.
Yeah, sorry, I tend to like dump info on people and then just confuse them, and then they're like,
I mean,
"Hey,
give him
big
mana
friend."
fish.
Yeah.
The dude was following a build off an RMT site, so...
Yeah, use Poe Ninja. Use Poe Ninja. That's the one take-home piece of advice. Don't use a build guide. Actually, like, snipe people's builds on Poe Ninja. Like, look at them and figure them out. That is way more useful. Oh, no problem, man.
Yeah, hopefully it helped. And we now return to your regularly scheduled Hypocrite Plays 4K Life Disaster. I'm not even... How do I even want to do this? Let's click on some items and then vendor them all very, very fast.
I don't know, man. 100% chance to freeze everything on the screen is a pretty good
yeah.
defense.
There's a lot of pieces that this thing doesn't have yet, and I'm like, oh.
So.
But it's been running pretty smoothly so far. It seems like no matter what actual caliber of mobs are put in front of it, it basically just trashes everything, so...
Frey, you should get on path.
Absolutely everything else that exists is now defensive headroom.
Yeah.
Frey says, AJ, you should play a video game with me. Alright, it's nearly 11. Which means that me guiding you through the Path of Exile leveling experience would probably end in disaster and preemptive divorce. I still have your Iron Commander, though. It's still there, incredibly, somehow. Click a whole bunch of one-socket stuff. Where is Xenon Trade? Thank God for, Vindicator said that portal cast on death link in the build, though. Hey, man. I run that on every build that has the socket space. It's just nice.
I mean, we're playing softcore.
Yeah, it's like, if you don't take advantage of the fact that after a certain point, you know, maybe the build doesn't need to progress anymore. Maybe it's okay to die sometimes if it means you're getting total higher yield out of the experience of playing it.
The way the game's designed, it kicks you in the nuts for dying, so you gotta get revenge somehow.
Heavy strike threshold, calm signs. We've already got like 12 of those, right?
Straight up rename the cheat rod.
Apple's just doing stuff. Yeah, real. I don't... Cast on Death Portal is quality of life, man. Especially if you are currently dying, which is something that certainly happens. So when I'm pricing rares, right? So my strategy for pricing rares looks something like this. Have I been sad enough to buy something like this in my life? And if the answer is yes, it goes in the 1C tab, because I want to pay it forward.
I will see you again.
And also because, fuck, dude, I'm IDing so many low-eye level garbage rares, it's ridiculous.
So how are you enjoying the build?
It's been fun. I'm having a pretty good time with it.
I am
Vindicative says, cast when damage taken portal joins Zana rotation. I unironically used to do cast when stunned portal, because on at least one of my older builds, getting stunned was usually instant death. And this was back when that was not a meaningful problem to me for some reason. So I'm just like, okay, so if I get stunned, I die. So let's minimize the time it takes to loop this process. Because cast when damage taken portal was too intrusive, but cast when stunned portal, that one was accurate 100% of the time.
What situation do you get stunned and that you don't, or that you die in but you don't get stunned? You are like an unwavering stance character.
Your unwavering stance. You run cast when stunned to put the fear of God in people. It's a power move, so when you link them your path of building, it's like having 4 support gems in your gloves. It's just to showcase how powerful you are.
Daryl was super triggered when he looked at my guide because I've just got empty sockets in some places. Like I'm just not using them all.
68 life, 27 lightning, 23 chaos. Yeah, I've been sad enough to buy something like that. I'm actually sad enough to buy something like that almost every day. Like during the leveling process? Absolutely. 53 life, 44 cold, 15 lightning? Yeah, I'm sad enough. Fuck it. Because what you gotta understand about pricing items in Path of Exile is that 95% of the strategy is to optimize for highest despair. That's just what's done. And hey, if you price something for 1C and get mass spammed, then, I mean, like, if you list a 1C item for 5C, nobody gives a shit. Just sell it for 1C and, like, whatever, not actually worth the effort to sell it for anything higher, really. If you sell an item for 1C and it's worth 15x alts.
Yeah, I mean, am I even allowed to weigh in on this as the guy sitting on like nearly 30 Exile and 2,000 chaos.
Nah, you're not allowed to have an opinion on farming currency when you have the most currency out of anyone who's currently playing the game in this department.
Just like, I don't know. Like, because I feel like it's gotta be gradated, right? Like, the advice you give people to make currency when they have less currency to work with has to be...
Yeah, for sure, because, I mean, such as the most ancient rule, you gotta have money to make money.
Yeah, so it's like...
And nowhere is that more true than Path of Exile, where people with a certain amount of currency can just throw it into a system that is basically as fucked up as alchemy and just produce more currency out of it. Like, hey, I'm Chaos spamming Elder Bases. Oh, it's 40 exalts.
I'm gonna be making build guides, and none of the builds that I put together are gonna cost more than like 20 chaos. And on that note, my favorite Path of Exile streamer is gotta be Nathal. And Nathal constantly makes builds that are budget, that are starter friendly, and he is actually a monster. He plays really well now. He's gotten a lot better.
No regen? Sounds good to me.
So if you're gonna watch somebody, you're gonna follow build guides. You know, don't be afraid to tune into Mathel. He's not just popular.
Frey says, Wes, quick, what class should I start a meme ballista build as?
I think people do it Deadeye.
Yeah, Deadeye sounds
Ranger.
right.
Actually, it's gonna either be Shadow or Ranger. Go to Poninja and look up Siege Ballista, and pick whichever class you see the most of.
Pretty much the answer for everything.
I mean, like, don't try to break the mold if you're not real good at the game yet. That's the answer every time. Breaking the mold is for players like me that have been in the game for a long, long time, and I try to do silly shit, and sometimes it still doesn't work out. So...
Stuff like Gladiator Righteous Fire turned out to work but still be super jank in ways that it was not possible to really anticipate, so hey.
That's how it is.
By the way, if you're curious, the answer is Martyr of Innocence being the best staff in the game.
Martyr of Innocence is pretty weird.
Fuck this layout. That was so
I
sad.
feel like Martyr is the problem with that build. Like, there's just no way to use it properly.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that actually, like, linking and supporting a Vengeance didn't turn out to be real. Because for whatever reason, it was never going off and only tickling the things that did, despite the high read.
It's got a 0.25 second cooldown, but you figure at that point it can go off.
Everything swings so much lower than that, though. Like, the only thing you're struggling against is single target, and bosses are swinging, like... Either it's fucked up shit like the Atziri trio, where they're all swinging at you 100 times a second, or a boss is swinging at you, like... once every 4 seconds.
Yeah, that's...
And then has obnoxious ground effects throughout the arena.
The real issue is that, you just don't get...
Believe in dreams.
Go! Run in a circle!
Zero Ranger! I tried. The base boost drop down was a red map.
Bullet hell. Yeah, you don't want to get hit enough to trigger a counterattack.
Yeah, that's just the nature of it.
What does it not do?
Frey says, there's literally 2 Siege Ballista built on Poninja. One's a Hierophant, the other's a Chieftain.
Go with
Blessed Elf.
Probably, I'd say go with Hierophant.
I guess I'm not surprised that there's only 2 characters with the 5-flank Siege Ballista in... What is it now, the top 13,000?
Yeah, I guess pick whichever appeals to you most on an aesthetic level. Chieftain will probably be tankier. Hierophant sounds good though. Get an extra Siege Ballista, I think. I think that's a totem, isn't it?
Yeah, Siege Ballistas are totems.
Nice. It doesn't seem like it would be a totem.
Yeah.
Siege Ballista. This is my Siege Ballista, also technically a totem.
Yeah, so you can see, this is how the build is working. Vindicative says, I'm rolling a Flicker starter next league, even with goddamn Delve in the game, which is probably going core by the looks of it. I actually, if I roll another character this league, it will almost certainly be Flicker, because...
Because you have to. It's tradition.
It's... The siren... Good. Reminder. This is still on my character.
You got pecked to death by fat chicks.
But yeah, I've... Flicker is my oldest love. And I think, yeah, taking out multi-strike during Delve or something like that is probably... I'm wondering... I'm sitting here like, can I fucking gem swap Flicker Strike with Conk Path and not gimp both of them?
Just body armor swap, man.
Honestly, that's what's done. Just swap your +1 shavs for another shavs. Be blasting cap.
You could always pull a Mathel and just use Void Forge because the scaling's gross.
Yeah. Because I'm gonna... The next thing I build, I want it to be an attacker. And it's either gonna be Consecrated Path or Flicker Strike. And, I mean, everyone who's watched one of my Path of Exile streams in like the past month or so has heard me complain about people calling Consecrated Path the new and improved Flicker Strike. Because part of the essential feel of Flicker is the ability to run multi-strike on it and just have the character pilot itself through an underground sea with absolutely no awareness of what's happening around it until it hits an old volatile, because this is 2.6 and you one-shot yourself.
This is 2.6 and VRF is real.
The Wild West of 2.6, where area of effect skills that weren't Flame Blast could actually, like, hit mobs.
Flame Blast is gonna be good right now.
Vindicative says, in before they rework Flicker Strike next league just to mess with people who liked it. Oh yeah, they're gonna make it target like Consecrated Path with a fucking hole in the center.
You will only be allowed to strike mobs that are standing in a circle.
What really gets me is that there's a fucking enchant for Flicker Strike cooldown recovery speed when there is not a single character in the history of the game who has actually made it to maps who uses Flicker Strike but ever intends to invoke the cooldown at all. There are no builds that use Flicker Strike for movement over walls. Shit like that. That just doesn't exist. The concept is insane.
Yeah, you bypass the cooldown. That's the...
Yeah.
It's like, why? How would you ever not? Why would you ever not?
No Flicker Strike feeling will ever be more universal than warping into a pack and not getting a crit on the first multi-strike and just dying instantly now.
That was probably a shit one. Was it an new one? Was it just, I think it was, I don't know, the Storm Prison or something?
Vindicator says, imagine trying to use Flicker to actually move from pack to pack with, like, holy shit, what did you do to me? Maybe I should not be in reds right now.
You can't do bosses with...
Yeah, not with Aberrath. Aberrath has been completely non-viable for single target since the item was created.
I still think you can do...
And you needed a VRF level crutch to actually kill bosses with it.
To consistently kill partially rolled red map bosses, yeah.
Alright, what's like...
You did river dance red map bosses to death though with that.
Yeah.
Because crit multis...
Any build could do anything with Volpack DS at that point though, so it's like... Because the real issue isn't actually doing enough damage to bosses, it's doing enough damage to bosses while being parked on their ass and not dying.
Yeah.
Because you basically give up all pretense of being able to use avoidance or active mitigation, because the entire time you're running in circles around the boss. No skills, no dodging, just uptime. And because you're bound to the duration of your Quicksilver Flask is effectively what's granting you half of your damage. By the way, did you know Aberrath is a speed limit? If you go above 160 move speed, start stutter casting, and you lose like half your DPS.
The worst.
Whelmy says, did you just detonate to Corrupting Blood? Was my fucking Staunching Flask down? Maybe.
No, I think you were ignited.
Ignite would probably do it, since I don't have any Ignite mitigation in the character right now. It's not something I usually bother to mitigate against heavily. No Soul Fight. What layout do I actually want to run on this character? Hey guys, Doctor soon. Yeah, Bleed or Ignite, most likely. Standard has broken me as a person. Listen, I didn't click that portal. I've been thinking about going SSF next week because it's an experience that I haven't had yet. And because I kind of like the idea of actually having all of the systems in the game be relevant for once. Of course, the primary issue with this plan is that, in SSF, it is slower to start going fast.
You know what's funny, right? Players like RiseKT, Ziggy D, and Nathal that everybody was making fun of for the longest time because they would putz around and do things on their own when they didn't need to. They could just play the game like Big Chicken or Demi and just like farm, like roll up 100 maps and farm them all at once and be doctors. They were making fun of them, but they are super powerful players now because they don't need external help to get what their character needs, really. And when they function in trade leagues, they just function more powerfully for that because they always have the ability to take the currency that they get and turn it over. And you know, I didn't mean to just talk shit about Big Chicken and Demi. Like they are both super powerful players as well. But you know, there was this thing where Ziggy and Nathal, people used to look at him like,
I'm gonna get pulled into streamer drama, and I don't even watch Path of Exile on Twitch anymore.
But what I'm saying is they got a lot better, and they did so by like focusing on those game systems that you're talking about, where it's like the perception in Trade League is that those game systems are irrelevant, but they're actually super not, and they can help you turn over currency and build your character together faster, you know, earlier in the league. So it's still super good.
And everybody wants to get in on the ground floor.
Yep. When you start early in the league and you have currency right off to work with, you know what you're doing, how you craft items and things like that.
Haku, don't do this to me, man.
I was wondering where you were. I was like, what are these tornadoes? And oh, you have a Kari spirit on your head. You must be doing Haku.
Yep. I'm cosplaying as the spirit because I got this garbage fucking armor out of a mystery box.
Yeah, even software Trade League players should learn the systems.
I don't know if Spider Forest still drops doctors.
I think it does. It's just reduced drop rate. I think Burial Chambers also drops doctors. I think that's
I think they just blitzed the shit out of the drop rate in Spider Forest, and that's what caused everybody to walk away from it.
Yeah.
So there's a pack in front of this, or there's a pack inside the arena.
I know they nerfed the Exile gift card in Vault.
Vindicative says Master rework can't come soon enough. It's in 3.5, right? Because I seriously can't fucking wait, dude. It's ridiculous. If every Master gets the same treatment as Zana, like, imagine actually being able to level Varici. Ever. It just feels so goddamn bad to actually, like, do Varici missions or do Katarina missions. I think Katarina is what tilts me the most because they, like 95% of them have ridiculous amounts of backtracking, which tilts me more than downtime a lot. I shaped pen and I have no idea how to run the layout. I'm a monkey with fucking dials in this game sometimes. I'm just like, dude, I don't understand anything, but I can put Aberraths on a character and strap it in, and it does this, so hey-oh. Indicator says Katarina's just the auto-skip master, to be honest. Yeah. I skip Katarina, and like, if the Varici mission clears itself while I'm killing the Exile, then I guess that's good. But if he wants me to not kill anything or leave anything on low life, I've got news for you, Varici. Everything else in this game rewards me for being an inefficient and indiscriminate killing machine. I'm not changing for you. Untimed Elrions are a pain in the ass too, but at least all you have to do is park your character and, like, I don't know, think about life for a while. For Katarina missions with backtracking, you have to actively suffer and walk back for every minute of it, and then you have to pull the fucking minion escort mission bullshit where the game moves the minions so slowly that not only do they get stuck on terrain, but, like, if you're a character moving at a decent rate for clear speed, you will actually unload them because they're too far away from you. It's so fucking bad. frustrating playing Forsaken Masters. Oh yeah, I don't even care. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go for too much longer tonight. It is 11:08, shit. I usually try to get to bed by midnight these days. Not because I actually feel like having a sleep schedule is important, but because if I don't set a time for myself, what happens is that I will go through my second and third wind every single day, and by the time I actually, like, my body gives up and decides that I seriously need to sleep, I'm a fucking shaking wreck. Because I'm too stupid to stop reading. Nice. Vindicator says, I enjoyed when Death and Taxes was still dangerous and Zana would regularly throw that shit at 6-man rotations. Man, I like the idea of master missions just being such hyped up versions of their base content that you get excited for them every time. Not because of the experience, but just because they're batshit insane. Like, imagine if Elrion missions had, like, the same density as drop bears. Like the drop bear encounter in Delve, but every monster wanted you dead. Like, it doesn't even need to be particularly rewarding. Stealth nerf it with like minus 90% quant or something. The point is, it's an opportunity to test your character against something fucked up and powerful and exciting. And in the wake of the disastrous marketing for Delve, where they insisted that the power of your character would be the only thing that controlled your ability to go deeper, and then immediately introduced the classic grinding gear grind for resource to do league content. I mean, that's not fair, because the league content in this league is some of the most rewarding stuff the game has ever seen. It throws the entire balance of everything completely out of whack, and it has to be regulated in some way, but like, this is the version of Delve that I want to see go core, where Delve and Atlas exist more or less in equal measure, kind of like as opposite halves. And I guarantee you it's gonna get, like, nerfed or rolled back in some capacity before it actually goes core. Vindicative says, yeah, yes, drop bear density chaos zombies incoming. Hey man, maybe it would finally be a reason to actually go CI. I know CI isn't that weak, but I'm still super mad about the removal of the nodes behind CI. Especially when a lot of characters will just tank minus 60, minus 30 chaos res and be like, I don't know man, chaos damage is pretty rare. Let's just react to it when it happens and that'll be fine. Vindicative says they won't buff CI, they'll just nerf life. Ugh. When was the last time grinding gear unnerfed something that wasn't like a unique item no one was really using at the time anyway? I'd like to see AoE change to be somewhere between 2.6 and 3.0. The fact that scaling AoE gets progressively less rewarding to kind of an insane extent feels kind of bad. Like, it's the same reward, really. Like, in theory, it's just adding the same amount of area every time, but it doesn't feel like that at all. Especially because of the shape and the way that most AoE skills work in. Vol packs changed multiple times, but I don't remember if they were unnerfs or reworks for most of them. Oh, yeah. Like, they finally did something about Instant Leech, mostly, which is good. So what's up next on the chopping block? My vote is... Alright, spin the wheel, flip to the Rolodex. What psychotic game system exists in the game's current state? Let's go with stat sticks. Stat sticks are a pretty easy target, huh? Make the mods exclusive, or trash the value, or I don't know, there's a lot of ways you can handle it, but... Hashtag make two-handers great again. Like, you look at Oro's sacrifice and it's like, wow, this does so much damage, and then the rest of the game catches up to you. And Oro's is still a damn good weapon, by the way, and cheap, too.
Alright, that's it. Make it an Oro's build. Hold on, I'll be right there. I'm gonna level the 90 in the next 10 minutes.
Frey asks, where's the Iron Commander again? I'll throw it in GS transfer tab. Did you unlock that, Wes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let me just portal real quick and drop that in for you, although you probably won't be able to use it for a bit. Vindicative says, I suspect the multiple intense different category nerfs for stat sticks. Yeah, they're gonna hit dual wield, they're gonna change the mods to be exclusive so you can't have more than one on the same piece. They're gonna nerf the value by half, and then they're gonna rework the entire system of damage conversion.
God, you're so optimistic.
That's not optimism. It's just grinding gear never nerfs something only once.
I mean, the way grinding...
And if you honestly believe that stat sticks are gonna slip under the radar?
I don't know. I think grinding gear,
Let me turn on your mic, actually. Hold on.
I gotta get the,
Oh, is it not hooked up?
It's just over here.
Ah, okay. Microphone noises.
Here, I'll, give me a second.
Do not adjust your television.
I'm here.
Hey,
Should be good. I hope you can hear the water sloshing around through the...
Alright, so where did I put this fucking
Vibrations.
thing? It's in my useful tab, right? Yeah, worth saving. Weird 5 green corrupted Iron Commander. Because I got super mad that I took a... I tried to 6-socket an Iron Commander, then didn't quality it, then spent about 100 chaos worth of jewelers on it, then corrupted it, and it got projectile speed. So, I got super mad. But yeah, let me throw this in transfer. Vindicative says, Impulses is on the pain train too, I bet, and I guess Loreweave? Impulses I can believe, I don't know about Loreweave.
Oh, Loreweave is the worst offender in the game.
I mean, yeah, it's real bad, but for whatever reason, something about the way the item works makes me think that Grinding Gear's gonna wait another patch cycle for it.
It's so bad. Just ignore max res maps. Like,
But Righteous Fire can't use it, so it's balanced.
this is the guy that plays nothing but Righteous Fire builds. I'm ready.
I think Loreweave is fine, because none of the characters that I play benefit from it. Because I play exclusively... I don't fucking know. But yeah, Impulses is... Because honestly, Impulses being psychotic is... I don't know, was it crazy in Incursion? It feels like absolutely everything is using it now in Delve, but I don't know if it was like this in Incursion because I didn't play during Incursion.
I didn't play during... I didn't play during Incursion either.
Yeah, Wes is coming back after a long break.
Let me see. I build an Oro's character.
Negative says, Incursion had the same issue once someone highlighted it. I forget, it says, I feel like it'd be hard to nerf Loreweave. Like, they can tone down the amount of flat physical or the amount of elemental damage it gives, but if you touch the amount of elemental cap it brings you up by, it'd be difficult. 78% doesn't feel as good as 80, you can get up to 78 or whatever with flasks and such. Yeah, the standout property is supposed to be the 80%, which is weird because they made it variable between 76 to 80 anyway, just because, hey man, gotta have divines in the game somewhere. People are finally figuring out that you shouldn't divine your Ventors.
Yeah, I mean... It's good even at 76. People... I mean, I've heard from Ethan a couple times. Every time I bring this up, he plays Devil's Advocate and brings up Taste of Hate or like a Sapphire Flask or any of the flasks that bring up your max res by 6%. And it's like, well, that's 81, and it's like, yeah, but you know what also? Lore Weave is just a good item. It's a good item and it frees up your flasks. If you can't use those flasks, then you don't use them, which means you use other flasks.
The fact that Impulsus has immunity to shock to me is, I think that's what pushes it over the edge in my mind. Like, as long as we're talking about freeing up flasks.
Impulses is only...
Like, it's obviously really shining right now because of stuff like the Templar general damage conversion shenanigans. So it's like way easier to make use of it than before. I mean, look at this thing, but... God, I love Gorges.
So
God bless the Gorge.
Lore Weave is beating out Impulses by 3% right now for use on Po Ninja. And I'd say that's probably less reflective of the difference than if you looked at the overall population, because Impulses is less friendly to newer players.
Yeah.
Where you have to be... You're basically memes if you're Impulsa. Impulsa is a way of getting like a really ridiculous amount of clear speed on a character that otherwise wouldn't have it. Like, that's how it helps the build, is it gives you clear speed.
So people are talking about changing the range on it to make stuff like 80% harder to acquire and make the item more expensive. And while I don't necessarily agree with that per se, I think that grinding gear might. After all, they've left Headhunter in the game for so long.
Lore Weave is not especially easy to... I like where Lore Weave is in terms of acquisition.
Yeah, the acquisition method is actually the best thing about it, really.
It's just a little too good. It needs to be, I think, it needs to be 78% no variance. They need to...
Holy shit. Hello, null portals.
They lock the fizz at the bottom 25% of the rolls.
The Negative says, I enjoy super powerful chase items, but stuff like Impulses is like low tier rarity. Yeah, I've dropped 3 this league. The game has been trying to tell me to use Impulses since my fucking first character. I rolled Facebreaker Consecrated Path, RT Inquisitor. And before you fucking say shit, it worked, and it was a great league starter. And the game drops me in Impulses is the time that I'm thinking, you know what, I might need to change this character structurally to take it where I think I'd want it to go, which is super deep delves. And the game just drops me in Impulses, and I'm like, hey, you know what? That gives me an idea. I should sell this Impulses and build something stupid. And the game just keeps trying to drop the chest over and over again until I take the hint. And eventually, I ended up just buying one after dropping 3.
The Calm's Heart cost right now. Calm's Heart.
Calm's Heart costs 0C if you buy it at the bank of taking it off my character.
1 Exile. It's actually super cheap.
Yeah, that dropped considerably.
It's free! I mean, I could.
Back when Mjolnir was a chase item. Man, what's going on with triggers right now? What makes Poet's Pen okay, but Mjolnir, Cast on Crit weren't?
Didn't they say something about the servers taking a hit?
Yeah, server load, sure, but they're also allowing for Heartbound Loop, Cast on Weapon Swap 20 spell a second builds.
Yeah, but how many people are running those?
I mean, yeah, but... I mean, I guess Cast on Crit was pretty... It was pretty
enormous.
common back when it got hit. But they put it in the fucking ground like every grinding gear nerf.
Heartbound Loop's like... super hipster.
Yeah.
Heartbound Loop weapon swap is super hipster because
But then they did the same fucking shit and they're like, okay, so we phased out a super straightforward put together trigger build. Now what do? Let's make an even more straightforward trigger setup, and then Cast when Channeling started existing and has been preventing Cyclone from being reworked to be a channeling skill for what feels like way too long.
You want Cyclone to be a channeling skill?
Absolutely. The way it works right now feels like fucking garbage.
I love the way that Cyclone is presently. It's a D2 holdover, and I like the way that it feels.
It feels so clunky to me. They fixed the fact that it gets stuck on every piece of gravel, sure, but the fact that you pick a spot for it and it like buzzsaws toward it at your current snapshotted movement, it's like, I want it to be fluid. I want to
You just
Run
hold
around
the
like a
mouse
buzz god.
closer to your character.
Yeah, but it still doesn't feel like it should.
I don't know if like it's a tactile thing, and I have a like Ethan thinks it feels like garbage too. I know I'm in the minority of people here because I grew up on D2 and I got used to movement like that. But in my submission, it's one of the very small, nuanced, like dexterity movements of the game that I actually kind of appreciate.
I mean, we all know that the grinding gear way of handling Cyclone being weird at the moment is to introduce a threshold tool that makes it channeled.
It should not be channeled. It shouldn't be. It's not a channeling skill.
It should be.
Why?
I hate that the best way for me to answer this is play D3, use Whirlwind, and come back.
I did.
Then you're an alien, because if you don't think that felt 10 times better than the way Cyclone is currently in Path of Exile, you are not from this planet.
It's weird because you're very backwards from your fighting game philosophy on commitment. Fighting games are a very different context,
Because
obviously,
you just said
but,
it
like,
yourself, Cyclone doesn't actually require you to meaningfully commit, it just requires you to go through the motions. Get out of here, shitty essence mob. I'm so mad about Cyclone.
Yeah. It's like, fuck this essence mob. And Cyclone, too.
The ability to smoothly change your direction and cancel at any time. It just seems like one of those things where it's like, when so many top tier skills basically give you the movement flexibility to basically control your character, like it's on fucking gliders. Like playing a fucking, setting up an MF Windripper character and just watching it move like it's on a hoverboard. And the obvious, the obvious
you saw
to me,
my Namahu's Cycloner. Thing moves, plays smooth. Like, Cyclone's got good quality of life once you know how to actually control it. It's just like,
it bothers me that spin to target location has a learning curve. And even at 100%, even with maximum human dexterity and presence of mind, which is, by the way, not at all the place that I want to be when I build a character that spins at mobs with 8k life. I can't... We're already doing reversed positions here. This is weird.
I know, it does feel a little surreal, doesn't it? But, like, I like the way that it feels. It doesn't, it's not hard for me to use it. And that may just be a holdover from
And in my
Diablo 2.
experimentation with Cyclone as single target on Flicker,
I
it
can't
wasn't
really...
terrible, but...
The problem with my position right now is I can't really defend... I can't really defend that it feels bad to everybody else. It's like, well, it feels good to me.
Yeah.
It feels bad to everybody else that I talk to, so... but I don't really like the idea of just, like, hold the button and then your movement direction... That's how it would work, right? You'd hold the button, your movement direction would still be going through. Like, you'd be moving, but you'd be channeling at the same time. Like, you'd press down spacebar and then you'd move.
Yeah, just
Like
follow
that.
your cursor continuously as long as the key is held. Time for Vol Flicker Strike, do it GGG. Holy shit, what would that even be?
I think it just spawns like 3 of you, and you just, all of you are flicker striking for the next
Honestly,
30 seconds.
If they're gonna do anything to Flicker Strike, what I'd like to see is for them to make multi-strike native on the fucking skill. Or give it a threshold jewel that duplicates a similar effect. Because to me, Flicker actually has 2 supports that are mandatory on it. Maybe even, like, you've got to do some combination of multi-strike, Ancestral Call, and Melee Splash. You gotta have at least 2 of those on every Flicker character, or it feels like garbage and usually doesn't work. Like, you can drop multi-strike. It's awkward, but you can. But then you're out here running Ancestral Call, Melee Splash. And I mean, you give up all pretense of being able to use Flicker on single target if you're not running multi-strike, but most Flicker builds don't. At least not past a certain threshold. Double reflect, okay. Frey says, holy shit, Wes, we were thinking the same thing. What the fuck? What on earth? What do you mean? Same thing with regards to what? Cyclone?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see the chat, so things get to me when AJ reads them out loud.
I want to create a fucking sock puppet account that just like pipes my Twitch chat into guild chat. That's the worst idea ever. Why would I do that? I mean, the answer is because it might be mildly interesting, but holy shit, that's the worst idea ever. Regarding Vol Flicker Strike, Indicator says, the classic hit me if you can Flicker versus Chimera battle. Flicker versus Minotaur has gotta be the funniest and saddest thing on this planet. You're warping around at 20 times a second, feeling super cool, and then rocks fall, everyone dies. And the entire fight is just avoiding rocks fall, everyone dies. Vol Flicker Strike. See, it just duplicating you feels too much like Vol Double Strike to me. It feels like it has to be its own thing, but what?
I'm making a Flicker Strike character, so...
Okay, the other thing about Cyclone not being channeled is that the skill decides whether it's a crit right at the start, and then either crits every single hit or doesn't crit every single hit until you recast. And that doesn't seem to me how it should function either.
Yeah, a lot of skills are like that. Actually. Yeah. Like, double strike, multi-strike.
It swings 6 times and they're all the same status.
I think so.
That's wild. When the sound engine just gives up on Herald of Ice and the result is something that sounds like the fucking insides of your headphones caving in. Sat in a box, Nova. No big deal. Vindicator says, I'd like a Vol Flicker that's just one teleport to all visible enemies and guarantees a crit or something. Ooh, so you do something like a... kind of like a Power Siphon feel? I actually like the idea of like a single cast of Vol Flicker Strike basically cutting off the charge requirement and warping you fucking super fast between every available enemy until some preset safety duration is over or
do we have a really good
range.
Auras lying around?
So you Vol Flicker Strike a single target and it literally just sustains flickers at a slightly higher speed on them for whatever the duration is. Because if we're gonna position Vol versions of skills as like, hey, here's how you make your clear setup viable for bossing as long as you can push it far enough. What were you saying, Wes?
Do we have a really good Auras lying around somewhere?
I don't know about that. Instinct says no. I think I've vendored all of mine so far. So I was gonna do Rapid Expansion. That's a DeviantArt tag. Weapon of Crafting. This is Judgment Staff. Is that even a base? I don't know. X of Crafting is always fucking dirt cheap anyway. Get in the vendor. Vindicative says they used to have that old blade flurry that was like circle around you, then the shadows strike to everything near you like Chimera has. That would just be Vol Blade Flurry, I suppose. Yeah. Probably. But yeah, since Flicker Strike is so commonly connected with, like, Blood Rage anyway, I like the idea of Flicker Strike being some, like, uninterruptible fucking do-or-die Omega multi-strike thing. Hey, Tyrone Sam, are you saying that Vol Flicker Strike should be Omnislash? Well,
Yes.
not directly. but yes.
Just yes. Directly and indubitably. Let's see. Flicker. What does the Flicker Strike helmet enchant look like? There's damage.
It's damage or damage for frenzy charge, I believe.
There's also cooldown recovery speed.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm out here using Flicker Strike as a movement skill over hills.
Yeah.
So I rolled this map, looked at the mods, re-rolled it, didn't look at the mods and put it in the device. I guess that's kind of where I am tonight. Anyway, the Delph cart not following you when you use movement abilities, but following you correctly when you increase your movement speed by some margin, is what I worry about most playing Flicker in Delph. The idea that the cart simply won't follow you quickly enough to keep you safe even with 150% light radius. And so you'll flicker forward into the darkness and swing for 0 damage on everything, and suddenly you're parked in the middle of a pack. Maybe even farther into a pack because you'll multi-strike through it. And then everything gets a free swing on you. And at deep enough delve depths, it's like, even a decently rolled defensive character, even a heavily defensive character, is probably just gonna blow up when they put themselves in the middle of 30 delve mobs in the darkness. Unless you want to be the world's first block-based Flicker Strike. Have fun with that. I mean, I guess there's no better time than using the fucking native dual-wield block, and, I don't know, you'll figure out the frenzy charges somehow, be Golden Rule Red Trail or something. Kitchen noises! What is that, actually?
Tea kettle?
Holy shit, that tea kettle is louder than a washing machine.
It's possessed.
Alright. Arachnid Tomb is really funny to me because the debuff you get from the boss being in the webs, where it increases your move speed and decreases your attack and cast speed. You'd think that that would be great for an Abereth's character, except it almost instantly pushes you above the 160 threshold and cuts your damage because you start stutter casting. And the moral of the story is that Chris Wilson hates fun. I really want the Abereth speed limit to be a bug, but I get the feeling it's the sort of thing that they don't actually want to fix. So. Come on now. There we go. Yeah, I'm probably gonna run a couple more maps and then start winding down a little bit. Maybe crash on the couch with Wes and watch him construct something.
We're flickering, man. I'm telling you, it's happening.
Oros is such a thematically powerful weapon.
Yeah,
It's gotta be one of my favorite uniques.
I think it's messed up powerful right now, honestly, because so probably gonna run it champion.
Champion, huh?
Yeah, you can't miss.
Makes sense.
Not only can you not miss, but
It's like, oh, I'm gonna search for decent crit rings. Okay. Now I'm gonna search for decent crit rings with over 250 flat accuracy.
yeah, it's.
And yeah,
it's pretty
Deviant's
bad
Dirge Flicker is
sometimes.
something I'd like to revisit at some point. Now that war cries are instant. Looked at doing that a while back, but the engine was a little off, and the feel of it, the way you'd have to stop to actually war cry, was kind of bothersome to me. But hey, Flicker variant where you get to shatter things.
Flicker damage with.
Nice. I love my fucking red map drop sound, dude. Here's the slowest portal cast of all time. If this colonnade is runnable, I'm just gonna put it in the device. Yep, sure thing. actually is... Yeah, there we go. Daryl did go live. Alright, so I'll tell you guys what. I'm gonna run this map and we're gonna see what happens, and then I'm gonna turn you over to somebody who's like, I don't know, eyeball it like 30 feet from me. I'm kind of sad that they actually killed Twitch communities. The API is still there, but it's difficult to access because they remove stuff from the dashboard. If we're gonna do a fucking streamer house thing, we probably need a name, huh?
Do we need to be like an officiated group? Are we
If for no other reason than having a shorthand to refer to ourselves.
Are we 4 men, 1 room?
Are we 4 men, 1 room?
I don't know, it's still like stuck in my head for some reason. And we still sleep in 1 room.
Yeah. That is true.
I think I shock somebody every single time.
3 men, 1 room was Bloodline Champions, right?
3 men, 1 room was Bloodline Champions.
God, I'm still fucking mad about Battle Right. I might actually... What gets me is that I might actually play Battle Right Royale.
No.
If they fixed shit so that you start with your entire kit.
I'm just gonna say no and leave it at that. You can
It's an ugly fucking thing to do, but I can imagine myself deriving some enjoyment out of the game as long as you remove the part of it where you randomly just don't get to fight with any meaningful portions of your kit and you're just sitting there and wanting someone. That's fucking horrible. Anyway. I'm gone for now. The obligatory hyper shill social media links have been posted in chat. Please use your human eyes to parse them in some way. And I'm gonna actually try to do the fucking new raid thing for the first time, possibly ever, on Twitch. The new raid feature was introduced like, it's gotta be like 3 or 4 months ago by now, and I just haven't used it.
He's growing up, guys.
I don't raid people because I don't actually... I'm out here playing fucking Ninja Union for the GBA, like, yeah, let me host someone in this community.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Community?
So let's try this. I don't know how this works. Oh, we got a banner? Okay. Alright, let's send our small party over there. I'll catch you guys later.
Peace.